Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Still summer heat and thunderstorm potential through Saturday, but by Sunday, highs back in the 60s where our lows have been, and by then lows in the 30s. For the rest of the day, we'll look near and north of Wheeling for a marginal risk of large hail and damaging winds. Same hazards for the marginal threat on Thursday from Huntington to Morgantown and west of there. Similar spots have a slight risk already for Saturday. So the next few days, a lot of opportunity to see some thunderstorms that could do some damage for some communities. Even so, very quiet across the region overnight into Thursday. Then through Thursday afternoon and evening, we'll see shower and thunderstorm potential move on in from the west. We'll have lingering showers Friday before that system passes altogether. Here's your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. Temperatures pushing into the 80s and low 90s are not limited locally here. Wherever you're traveling in the coming days, still dressing for that summery weather. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast up until 7 p.m. Friday. A half inch locally for New Cumberland. Then amounts really drop off going south. Mid-60s is where we bottom out going into Thursday. Very mild this time of year. Low to mid-80s. These will be the coolest spots in the region on Thursday. Looking east, amounts drop off to nothing towards Charlestown. We will see temperatures staying in low to upper 60s here into Thursday, and the warmest spots back in some low 90s for Thursday. Hot for mid-April. Expanding west, commonly around 1/10 of an inch expected in the coming days, with temperatures bottoming out in low to mid-60s, and not as many 90s here, but still some mid-80s, very common for your Thursday. Ending in portions of southern West Virginia, we'll see a good 1/10 of an inch or so, including for Charleston. Looking at temperatures bottoming out in low to mid-60s, and then commonly in the low to upper 80s for your Thursday. When it comes to the rest of the forecast, we will be much quieter along with the cooler conditions starting Sunday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. For your entertainment, Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK 304. Or call 800-765-8255. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekly.
All right, hello, West Virginia. We are back for more in the 304. Time to get it done in the 681. Time to start this 3-hour audio tour for Wednesday, April 15th, Tax Day 2026. Metro News Hotline comes to you from the Salango Law Studios. Visit salangolaw.com. Now, I understand there are parts of West Virginia that are supposed to be over 90 degrees today, Coop. Now, here in the old Canal Valley, right now it's about 84.
It's nice.
84 feels okay.
Yeah, it feels very nice.
A little crispy out there. I was spending some time in the backyard earlier today.
84, that's moss, right?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I guess that's right. Hey, man, I'm
just like the one jersey I know.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because normally I do that, but I'm obsessed with number 42 today because it is Jackie Robinson Day.
I'm glad it's warmer than that, though.
Jackie Robinson Day, all around baseball. Great trivia question right off the top. There are 2 teams in Major League Baseball that have never had a player wear number 42. There are 2 teams in baseball that have never had they've never had a player wear 42.
The 2 most recent expansion teams.
There you go. Now you're on the right path there. So what do you think?
Well, the 2 most recent expansion teams. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head who that is.
Okay, you're right.
Is it who is the most recent? It's not still Miami. They're not the most recent.
No, it's not the.
Who are the most recent?
It's the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks. That's right. Yeah.
Diamondbacks and the Rays.
Rays. Yeah, they came in this league at the same time.
Yeah, they came in at the same time. So, and there are a list of pretty decent players who wore 42 in the era before Jackie Robinson Day came along in 1997 and retired the number 42.
So you mean like between when he was playing and before they sanctified the number,
Yes.
basically, there was still a whole host of good players that wore 42.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the I know somebody's out there driving and they think, well, Dave, when are you going to tell me about Mariano Rivera? Well, let's go ahead and do that because he was the last player to grandfather in 42. So it's funny when you see a Yankee 42 jersey, that seems kind of weird, right? Because if you go to a game, of all the major league games you've ever been to, there's always somebody that's got the Jackie Robinson Brooklyn Dodgers 42 jersey. And it's always kind of cool to see that jersey.
Yeah.
You can wear that jersey. And, no matter, you can wear that to a Giants game. You can wear that to a Reds game. You wear it to a Pirates game. And fans of other teams will, give you the nod.
That's as close as you can get to like the Rob Lowe I like baseball hat, like the one, like that's pretty close to that, but it's a lot cooler.
I've got that. Dude. Have you seen me wear it?
No, I don't think so.
I've got a white New Era cap that I got somewhere in a thrift store that all it has is the NFL shield on.
Nice.
It's just like, yay, big sports.
Yes, ball.
Yes, big fan.
Big fan of the football.
Big fan of, hey, how about that local sports team? Big fan.
Yeah, that works.
Big fan. So players who wore, Hall of Famers who wore 42, Bruce Sutter wore 42.
Okay.
Alan Trammell, Mike Mussina, all those guys wore 42 for a while. Bob Lemon wore 42. He was in the Hall of Fame, too. Mo Vaughn. When's the last time you saw a Mo Vaughn Mets jersey? It's been a
that's a
while,
good
right?
question. Sure, yeah, right.
Mo Vaughn, I saw Mo Vaughn maybe hit one of the longest balls I have ever seen. I was at spring training when the Reds used to train in Plant City. He hit a ball down the right field line that cleared the fence, part of the parking lot, and hit off the Reds clubhouse. I mean, if somebody had been coming out the door, literally they would have been crowned by a Mo Vaughn missile.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he could rake.
He could rake.
He could definitely rake. Dave Henderson wore 42 as well. So, a couple of things about the show today. We're going to get Tony Caridi on the show a little earlier today. He'll be on with us live at 3:30 because he's going over to Hagerstown for the WVU baseball game with Penn State. Coop, here's one for you. Think about this. How rare is it for a game to be played, a significant game, and college baseball is a significant sport, right? For a situation where you have one team from one state playing a team from another state, and the game's in a third state. So you got West Virginia, based in Morgantown, Penn State and State College, and the game's in Hagerstown.
So
that's kind of rare, right?
Outside of the postseason, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, in a regular season game.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in a mid-season tournament setting. That's pretty rare, right?
Yeah. Why would you do it? I wonder. Do we know the details?
We have a bite coming up in the Sound of Sports. If we get to the Sound of Sports today, or maybe if we don't, we'll just play the bite where Steve Sabins talks about how this game basically got put together. It has a lot to do with the fact that Penn State and West Virginia are not in the same conference, so they don't necessarily play on the weekends. It's a midweek game. So, I mean, if West Virginia was going to play a game at State College and that was going to be, a game relatively at a time where fans could come and, enjoy some hot dogs and maybe a couple of beers or whatever. So you got to start that game, 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock? So say you play that game on, say, on a Wednesday when you normally play your midweek games. Man, what time are you getting home? I mean, the bus trip from Morgantown. Have you ever driven to State College?
No, I haven't.
Okay, and I've done it a couple of times. It's a grind. It's easier now than it used to be, but it's still a grind. So you're talking about what time are you leaving the field? I mean, are you rolling by 10 o'clock? Even if you are, that means you're not getting back to Morgantown until sometime between 2 and 3. And then, believe it or not, some of these guys got to go to class, right?
Yeah.
They got to go to class, and then you have I would say you probably have to focus more on your conference games, right? In the Big 12, that would be coming up in a couple of days. Anyway, they figured this out, that this is a relatively good solution, where WVU can go to Morgantown and go to Hagerstown, and Penn State can come down and play the game. I've never been to this ballpark in Hagerstown. This is the relatively new ballpark.
Not where the Suns played back in the day. Huh?
The Suns played back at Memorial Stadium. That was the day when you had the Wheelers and the Alley Cats and Hagerstown. Help me here. When Hagerstown was in the Sally League, for the majority of the time, they were an affiliate of the O's, right? But not all the time.
Yeah,
Didn't they spend
remember.
a time where they were an affiliate of the Blue Jays?
I was thinking, I was. Yeah, man, it's been so long.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, this park they're playing in tonight is supposed to be pretty nice.
Nice.
It's relatively downtown, and the capacity of the park is like 48, 47.
The old park wasn't great, so that's
it was
good.
terrible.
Yeah, that was one of the visiting trips I went to with the Wheelers one time. Was down to Hagerstown. That was a really trashy ballpark.
Yeah, it wasn't really good. And if you remember, that was that era in minor league baseball. The edict came down that, like, listen, if you got a really lousy ballpark, you've got to upgrade or you're going to be out of the league.
Right.
So Hagerstown did, and they still got kicked out. Okay. So Hagerstown is in the Atlantic League. And this stadium that they're playing in, well, I guess it's a stadium. This facility that they're playing in tonight, it cost a pretty penny to get it done. I think the thing ran about $70 million.
Wow.
So that's where they play. That's where the Dirty Birds play when they are in the Atlantic League. So there you go. That game will start. Technically, Coop, that game's in our window.
Oh.
I think first pitch is like 5:30.
Okay.
So we'll keep you updated. We got some more facts about that game as we go along. Tax Day, April 15th, Tax Day. We talked about your taxes yesterday. You're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Late this year. I'm not usually. late for me this year. That's not typical.
So I was looking at some things about Tax Day I thought were pretty interesting. Did you know that the IRS will allow a tax deduction for purchasing a clarinet and paying to have lessons if it's prescribed by a doctor or a practicing dentist? Did you know that?
No.
If a business owner is forced to pay a ransom to a criminal and the ransom is reported to the SEC and the local police, the amount of the ransom is a tax deduction.
Man,
did you know that?
I can tell you this. That sounds like some kind of a plot to Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they stage some sort of a ransom to try to keep from paying taxes.
I'm not going to go too far down the rabbit hole with this stuff, but a couple of these are just great. Due to an advertising effort from Woolworth's department store in 1938, which used a real person's Social Security card as a sample placed in wallets, over 40,000 people use that number as their own Social Security number when they file their income taxes.
Wow.
You want me to read that again?
No, does that number still exist?
I have no idea. But so you buy a wallet, right?
Right, yeah, I know.
You buy a wallet at Woolworths, and so there's like a card in there to show you where your card slots are supposed to be, and it was a fake Social Security number card. The number that was on that card, 40,000 people thought, "Whoa, that's my number."
So, despite the fact it was probably like John Doe and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
exactly.
A bunch of people were like, "Oh, that must be my Social Security number." Good night.
Hey, man, it was a different time. It was a different. time.
I guess
it might be the first. That might have been the first wallet a person had ever bought at a department store.
I mean, are these the same people that would introduce their family and use the pictures in the wallet? Hey, look at my wife and kids.
Oh, yeah,
that's
right.
weird. I saw them at the grocery store the other day, too.
There are a couple of really interesting stories like that. After the Tax Reform Act of 1986, which really isn't that long ago, 40 years ago, taxpayers had to begin listing the Social Security number of their dependents. Millions of children suddenly disappeared from the tax rolls. Did you know that?
Oh. I mean, I guess I know what that means.
Yeah, you know what that means. So, that might be Woolworths.
Well, you know what's crazy? That's the news line, so it's not for us.
Oh, good.
But it is the West Virginia Tax Department, so I don't know. maybe they're a little upset with you. I don't know.
So you know what? I want to tell you something. You and I have been on this show for a long time together. This show, are we the longest continuous shows with original hosts on the network?
I think
we are.
After the sports line shuffle, I think that that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Fred's been on game night forever, and
that's true.
So as far as daily shows,
Okay.
I think we would have to put the Daily Show caveat in.
Okay, but I think most people who listen to our little get together that we have here on the air every day between 3 and 6 think we're pretty good people. Think that we're pretty nice people, right?
You have more confidence than I do, but yeah, that's probably true.
Okay,
I hope so. Anyway,
so I had a guy send me a note and said, "Hey, man, your name came up in conversation." I was like, "Oh, great! What is it? How can I help this person?" Apparently, it came up in a Facebook post that I did not see, where some person said to the other one, "My name came up," and the person said, "He's not a nice guy. He passed me on the street and didn't even say hello."
I hate that stuff.
What? When I leave the house, Coop, and go through D Street in South Charleston, is it supposed to be like a scene out of The Music Man, or maybe like Singing in the Rain, or what do people expect from me?
You're just supposed to point at people like, "Hey there, guy," and maybe dance around a little bit, do a little twirl, and be like, "Dave Weekly here."
What do people expect? What do people expect? I mean, people I know I'm going to say hello to, but am I supposed to roll up on like a total stranger and like?
I've had this happen to me too,
Okay.
and so I feel where you're coming from there a little bit.
Okay.
With me, it's I'm around downtown a lot, but I'm not paying attention to like people in the street or whatever.
Right.
So I mean, if you're like like trying to talk, like I got a text one day from a guy that said that he was like having a conversation with me from across the street, and he's like, "Thanks for ignoring me, Coop," or whatever. And I was like, "Man, did you look a little closer at my ears? Because if you would have, you would have seen earbuds in, and I didn't hear you, man." I mean, so it's a strange thing. It's a strange thing, So this person claims that they said hi to you?
No,
they just saw you.
No, the passage was simply like he passed me on the street and didn't even say hello.
So you did, and this is a great conversation anyway, because let's face it, in this day and age, there's a strategy to how you acknowledge somebody on the street. Because it's not something, if you just go around nodding at everybody, they're going to think you're an idiot, because nobody does that.
I know.
Like, I'm a friendly guy. I walk around a lot. I kind of like to be the guy that's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like nodding at people. But man, if you do that to the wrong people, they think that you're like jumping in their space or you're trying to get all in their business. Frankly, if you're a guy walking down the street and you do it to a lady, they're like, "What do you want?" I mean, you got to be careful of that stuff. You don't go around just giving nods out to people anymore. It's inappropriate in 2026.
Coop, when I go to Kroger on a regular basis, 99.9% of the people have no idea who I am. I rarely get noticed wherever I go.
What about when you start talking?
I don't even remember the last time that happened.
It happens to me because I talk to my daughter constantly when we go to the store. So
okay.
it's like, so hey kid, so if you go do this and people recognize my voice all the time, so they'll come up to me and say, "Coop, right?" And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, that's an interesting point. This actually happened to me at Kroger one time, where I was at Kroger and a guy saw me in the parking lot and he rolled up on me. And this literally is just like within the last year. Says, "When are you coming back to Channel 8 after your vacation?"
You told me that.
I haven't been on Channel 8 since 2001.
Part of me hopes that that's somebody that was really just having a great time and wanted to have a joke. But also, I kind of think that this guy thinks that like it was just like last week, the last time he saw you do the sports.
I know. Well, anyway, I'm just.
How's Rasheed Marshall doing at WVU?
How's that working out? Major Harris, whatever happened? No, so I just thought I'd share that with you because I really don't want people to think that just because we have a show that we're not nice people, that we climbed over a bunch of people to get to the spot.
I have been with you in situations where people just come and start talking to you, and you are gracious, overly gracious, if anything.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, by nature, you don't necessarily go down the street and just talk to people anymore and nod. And maybe that's a shame, but it's just the era that we're in.
Yeah, but it hurt my feelings.
I could see that.
It hurt my feelings.
Dave's a nice guy, man. You don't want to do that.
Yeah,
to
thank you. So let's see. The Reds play the Giants tonight. How about the Reds last night? 3 hits, but 2 of them left the ballpark.
Yeah, they need they need to start getting some hits, man. There is no doubt. I mean, the pitching will be there and gone. They'll get some good pitching sometimes. They got to start hitting the dang ball.
Pirates last night, and this always happens. You score 16 runs in one game, and you're watching the game, and you're thinking, man, can't we just book 6 of these runs for the next game? And then, of course, they lost last night by 1 run.
Yeah,
5-4.
I mean, nobody could square up Skeens. Nobody was getting good contact against him. It seemed like as easy as pie, and then suddenly Keller's just getting knocked around the park last night.
I watched a little of the NBA play-in game last night between the Heat and the Charlotte Hornets, and suddenly it hit me after I've been watching a game for 3 or 4 minutes. Coop, when was the last time you seriously sat down to watch a game featuring the Charlotte Hornets? Okay.
When did Shaq leave?
If I showed you, does Alonzo Mourning still play for the Hornets? I mean, if I quizzed you on the lineup of who's in who plays for the Charlotte Hornets, how do you think you could finish above 50%?
Today?
Yeah.
No.
Me either.
I couldn't do that with most
and
of
we
these
do
teams.
this for a living. But so I was wondering about this. So we've got the clip we'll play later where they win the game over the Heat. It's a playoff game with a basket nearly at the buzzer, a layup with about 5 seconds to go. That was the first time that the Hornets had won a playoff game at home in a decade.
Wow, really?
Think about that. You talk about, nearly an entire generation of long-suffering Charlotte Hornet fans had never seen, well, I guess a play-in win's a win, right? That's a postseason win. I mean, it's technically, but it's not really in the real playoffs. It's just in the play-in game. So they won a game last night, and I was like, and I started looking at the court and their uniforms. Charlotte's got good uniforms. They may not have a really good team, but their uniforms are sharp, man. I just remember back in the day when Grandmama and Alonzo Mourning were playing for them. They had it going on there for just a very brief amount of time.
Who was I misspoke when I said Shaq a minute ago. There was one big guy that they had there. Was it? Maybe I was thinking of Mourning. I can't remember.
Yeah,
if there was
Zoe
somebody
was a
before
really
that.
good player for them.
Was Larry Johnson there too?
Yeah, Grandmama was there.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Yeah, so that team was pretty good for a little while. You're right.
Yeah.
And I have to say that Charlotte does a nice job with integrating all of their sports franchises. But my wife and I used to vacation down there quite a bit before we had the kid, and they do a good job with that stuff down there. It's easy to access any of their sports teams.
Here's something that's kind of crazy. I have a Hornets sweatshirt that I got before they changed their name to the Bobcats, and now that they're the Hornets again, I can wear it again.
Man, I forgot all about the name switcheroo,
I know.
the back and forth name thing. I forgot all about that.
All right, let's take a quick break. We're coming back with more in just a moment.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it, so I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind. I forgot
and onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All right, Tony Caridi is going to join us next for the latest on the Mountaineers after a local news break coming up right now. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Still summer heat and thunderstorm potential through Saturday, but by Sunday, highs back in the 60s where our lows have been, and by then lows in the 30s. For the rest of the day, we'll look near and north of Wheeling for a marginal risk of large hail and damaging winds. Same hazards for the marginal threat on Thursday from Huntington to Morgantown and west of there. Similar spots have a slight risk already for Saturday. So the next few days, a lot of opportunity to see some thunderstorms that could do some damage for some communities. Even so, very quiet across the region overnight into Thursday. Then through Thursday afternoon and evening, we'll see shower and thunderstorm potential move on in from the west. We'll have lingering showers Friday before that system passes altogether. Here's your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. Temperatures pushing into the 80s and low 90s are not limited locally here. Wherever you're traveling in the coming days, still dressing for that summery weather. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast up until 7 p.m. Friday, a half inch locally for New Cumberland, then amounts really drop off going south. Mid 60s is where we bottom out going into Thursday. Very mild this time of year. Low to mid 80s. These would be the coolest spots in the region on Thursday. Looking east, amounts drop off to nothing towards Charlestown. We will see temperatures staying in low to upper 60s here into Thursday, and the warmest spots back in some low 90s for Thursday. Hot for mid-April. Expanding west, commonly around 1/10 of an inch expected in the coming days, with temperatures bottoming out in low to mid-60s, and not as many 90s here, but still some mid-80s very common for your Thursday. Ending in portions of southern West Virginia, we'll see a good 1/10 of an inch or so, including for Charleston, looking at temperatures bottoming out in low to mid-60s, and then commonly in the low to upper 80s for your Thursday. When it comes to the rest of the forecast, we will be much quieter along with the cooler conditions starting Sunday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
On the next State of Minds.
When something like punk rock comes around, it's very anti everything, and people were really looking down on what they were brought up with. And for us, we found it was kind of fun to embrace it.
Is it a moment or like they're having an episode?
No, but you're right. You're right. We are having a moment. Yeah.
The conversation starts long before the game.
He doesn't do this to other guests, but every time I'm on here, he creates distractions.
Disrespectful.
With his phone. I mean,
I have to have the phone on in case Pete Thamel breaks another story.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNews.com.
Walk.org. All right, welcome back to the show. 26 minutes till the hour. You know what? We were so busy talking about tax day, and some people think that I'm not such a nice guy in the crosstalk segment that I did not get to the question of the day. We will do that right now, and then we'll do a little bit of Sound of Sports. We got the bat signal up for Tony Caridi. Hopefully he'll be joining us relatively soon. A little bit later on in the half hour, Dave Erickson from Rotowire is going to be joining us. But let's just talk a little bit about the question of the day, and it has to do with today being tax day. Tax day. Can you believe it? Hey, did you know this? That the original 1913 federal tax form was only 4 pages long? Today's instruction booklet alone has over 100 pages. And tax day wasn't always on April 15th. In fact, until 1955, the deadline was in March. So here's the question of the day, and it's sponsored by Salango Law. If you just got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch, you have to spend it on something completely useless, what are you buying? That's the question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund. Congratulations, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? So, to respond, text those in, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255-304. Tweet me, I'm on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY. One word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. All right, let's get into the Sound of Sports, and we will begin with college baseball. 15th-ranked WVU will meet Penn State late this afternoon in Hagerstown, Maryland. The Mountaineers are 24-8 right now after taking 2 of 3 at Texas Tech last weekend. And here, David Hagan is going to get the ball for this game that's set for a 5:30 first pitch. Here is Steve Sabins on why we're playing this game in Hagerstown anyway.
1-1 was great. We'll both wear it in the pants for one of the long bus trips. But if we were able to find somewhere closer in between, we would love to do that. And so this park in Hagerstown, I've never been there. I don't know a ton about it, but I was told it was a $80 million downtown renovation project where they wanted to bring life to this downtown area, and this was going to be kind of the center hub for it. And they pitched us and had a great leadership team and management team. They ended up paying for buses and essentially paid for us, both teams, to be there to put on this event. And then I've been told that it's been sold out for a long time.
All right, there you go. Penn State is 10-23 after losing 2 of 3 against Ohio State last weekend. Speaking of the Buckeyes, too, Marshall's in Columbus to take on Ohio State today. First pitch for that game is set for 6 o'clock. Major League Baseball. Last night in Pittsburgh, the Bucks were 5-4 losers to the Nats. Washington's C.J. Abrams went 3 for 4 with a homer, a double, and 2 RBI. The Bucks had the potential game-tying run in scoring position with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
Pop up. This is going to do it. Foul ground. Meade makes the catch. Pirates had golden opportunities in the later innings to tie it or win it. Great effort, but not to be, as Gus Farland earns his 2nd career save.
The Nats have won 4 games out of their last 5. Brandon Lau homered again for the Bucks last night, his 7th. He's just the 4th player in Pirate history to hit at least 4 home runs and drive in 11 runs in a 3-game span, joining Ralph Kiner, the Hall of Famer who did it twice, and Jose Castillo back in 2006. Here's the Pirates manager, Don Kelly, on the rough start last night for Mitch Keller and coming up short against the Nats.
With Mitch, from the beginning just didn't have the sharp command, but battled and grinded and, got through 4 innings when early on, didn't look, you could tell from the beginning it wasn't as sharp as he's been, and to be able to make the pickoff, be able to strike that guy out, throw him out in the first inning, and then for him to battle through 4, keep it right where it's at. I mean, it could have gotten even worse there, even in the first inning. Give us a chance, and then the way the offense battled, bunch of hard hit balls.
In Cincinnati, the Reds edged the Giants 2-1. The Reds had just 3 hits last night, but 2 of them were homers, including Sal Stewart's 5th of the year in the 4th inning to expand the lead.
Now Sal Stewart's the batter, and it's full. Back-to-back Reds work full counts. Second time seeing Ray. Oh, driven to right center by the Rook, and out of the yard. Stewart slugs again. His team leading 5th, 2-0 Cincinnati. It's a deadlock with De La Cruz. These 2 young talents are pounding baseball.
Sal kept that back foot down and powered that ball.
All right, so the Reds are now 4-0 in one-run games this year. That's a big turnaround from last season. Here's the Reds starter last night, Brady Singer, on getting just enough run support last night.
No, I mean, honestly, kind of keeps you locked in a little bit more too, which is nice. But the Spencer and Sal there with the homers were huge for me, and it was great.
You said something along the lines of, I got this after you got hit. Kind of what were you thinking in that moment?
Yeah, I wanted to get to the 6th there. Had some short outings this year, and wanted to finish that off and get through the 6. Just got to push through it.
All right, there you go. Rhett Lauder goes for the Reds in Game 2 of this series tonight with the Giants. This afternoon, the Cardinals and the Guardians are playing, and they are in the top of the 7th inning. St. Louis has got a 4-1 lead. But we need to take a look back at J.J. Weatherholt's game last night against Cleveland. The former Mountaineer had his first multi-homer game in the majors. His second homer was an Oppo Taco in the 8th.
He's on for J.J. Weatherholt, who struck out in the first, hit his second big league home run in the 3rd.
That one driven a long way by J.J. to left. At the track and wall, it's gone! A 2-homer game for Weatherholt, and the Cardinals are 1 run down. What a night for Weatherholt. The first multi-home run game of his major league career. Many more to come, and goes backside with it, using the whole field. Couple of homers, couple of Gold Glove caliber plays, and hopefully a comeback victory for the Cardinals and J.J. Weatherholt.
Yeah, they ended up coming back to win that game last night, the Cardinals did. And in Atlanta, the resurgence of the Braves. Dominic Smith continued last night with a go-ahead 3-run double in the 8th inning in a 6-5 win over the Marlins.
Smith out to left center. Marcy is in. He won't get it. They are circling the bases. Smith opened a bottle of Dom on him, and he gives the Braves the lead in the 8th.
There you go. Smith finished with 4 RBIs. He's hitting .395 at the moment. From the NHL, with the Pens set to open the playoffs against the Flyers, the majority of the Penguins regulars didn't play in last night's regular season game, a 7-5 loss to the Blues in St. Louis. While in Columbus, in what potentially could be the last game ever for Alex Ovechkin, Ovi and the Caps ended the season with a 2-1 road win over the Blue Jackets. The Caps took a 2-goal lead with just over 4 minutes left.
Lundestrom without a stick, shadowing Ovechkin. Seam for Wilson. 20 seconds to go. Lundestrom is just hip-to-hip with Ovechkin. Chekrin triggers. Scores! Washington leads.
All right, Ovechkin says he'll wait until after the season before deciding on his future. Caps win in Columbus. And here's a furious Blue Jackets coach, Rick Bowness, after last night's loss.
All you got to just look at the stat sheet. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. Like, I don't know if I'm back, but if I'm back, I'm changing this culture. These guys, they don't care. Losing is not important enough to them. It doesn't bother them. Like, how can you go out and play like that? Should have done this about a month ago. But this is why we are where we are. This is why we're at the playoffs. That kind of effort. Losing, you have to hate losing. I don't care if it's a meaningless game. I don't care. Show up and compete. 3 hits, 23 giveaways. What else you want to know?
What else you want to know? All right, that's it for the Sound of Sports. We'll take a quick break. Jeff Erickson from Rotowire is coming up next. We got a lot of good stuff about fantasy baseball with him. Stay with us.
Metro News Hotline, brought to you by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too. That's me too. a great point.
Join
Yeah.
Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
All right, welcome back. About 13 minutes till the hour. Always enjoy spending a little bit of time every week at this time with senior editor from Rotowire, Dave Erickson. We got so much stuff to talk about, Jeff. How you doing today? Thanks for coming on the show.
Doing great, Dave.
Let's talk a little bit about Noah Schultz, first of all. Let's start there. Made his major league debut last night with the White Sox, and I was really anxious to watch him pitch. Physically imposing. He's 6'10". He's the tallest player in Major League Baseball right now. I guess the White Sox have another prospect they're about to bring up that's 6'8". But Schultz has kind of an interesting delivery, kind of a sidearm motion. Looked like he was a little rattled by the atmosphere last night in a loss to the Rays. From a fantasy perspective, what are we looking at here? Is he a must-grab in all leagues? So, how do you feel about him?
You know, he's a priority grab in deeper leagues, 15-team leagues, obviously AL-only leagues. 12-team leaguers, it might be a little bit more borderline. Keep in mind, pitches for the White Sox, a team that is slugging 300 right now. So run support might be in short supply. But he's just a live, slingy arm. I think he was overly amped last night. I think his command was a little off because of that. He kind of had a down year last year, had a knee issue there, and that kind of depressed some of his numbers. But I like him. I think there's a high strikeout ceiling there. I will say there is some concern about how deep into games he'll work. 2 years ago, the White Sox kind of infamously held him to shorter than 5-inning outings every single time. And in 3 outings this year so far, 5, 5, and 4 in the minors. So you're not going to get too many games where he goes in the 6th, 7th inning there where, wins are to be had. That's kind of one of the issues.
I was very anxious to watch him pitch, and it just did not go especially well last night. But, if you've got him, I have him in a couple of leagues, and I started him in one league, and another league I did not. You don't cut him, right? If you're
right.
If you're in a 12-team league, you don't try to stream starters. If you got him, you got to hold him, right?
I agree. I mean, in a 12-leaguer, you are streaming a little bit still. Your baseline for what you're streaming is higher. But yeah, I think the strikeout upside is worth that going there. One of the things that's kind of a bummer is if you are in a league that goes Sunday through or Monday through Sunday, is you're missing out on a 2-start week in his first start up. It's going to be a while before he gets his next 2-start week.
I want to also talk, let's talk about a couple of other rookies. I heard you on your podcast talking about Connor Griffin. So, Griffin has looked a little overmatched early on.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, he seems fine. Last night, near the end of the game, had a couple of big hits against the Nats. From a fantasy spot, do you pick up Connor Griffin? Do you let him go? I mean, if you're not in a dynasty league, you may not want him.
No, you want him. You definitely want him.
All right.
It's coming. Look at what Nick Kurtz did the first couple weeks of the season last year as a guide, and then see how he adjusted eventually. It took him almost a month to hit his first homer. He's fine. He's going to be fine. Connor Griffin, just keep in mind, he's 19 years old. You have to remember age to level, lack of experience at AAA for that matter, but he'll adjust. Mike Trout struggled initially. Bryce Harper struggled initially when they debuted. That's the sort of territory we're talking about here. You don't want to be missing out when he does hit his stride, and he will.
Griffin got $140 million to sign long-term with the Pirates. The news coming out today about Kevin McGonigal with the Tigers, 8 years, $150 million. It's a big commitment, obviously. From a fantasy perspective, do you want him now? Does he have to prove it to you? What's your take on McGonigal?
I've got him in 7 leagues, so I already want him. 412 on base percentage tells me all I need to know. This level is not too high for him at all. In fact, he brings a skill set that the Tigers don't necessarily have a whole lot of. He's a great one. We're going to be enjoying him for a long time. He may not have that high ceiling that Connor Griffin has, especially in terms of the speed, but he's more polished right now.
One of the things I like that you did in one of your most recent podcasts was talking about players that you drafted that you regretted. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How concerned should you be if you're holding Garrett Crochet of the Red Sox?
I think you're frustrated because you spent a first-round pick on him, and there's zero chance you're ever benching him unless he's hurt. But yeah, all 4 pitches he threw on, when he pitched on Monday night against the Twins, and he gave up the 11 runs, 10 earned. All 4 of his pitches, the velocity was down on, the spin rate was down on. Afterward, he said he was healthy. Kind of have to take him at his word. Sometimes you get April dead arm periods there. Usually you don't get that extended, the damage to go with it there. But you just kind of have to count on him getting it back. It's going to take a while to recover from those ratios.
Hey, what about Jeremiah Jackson of the Orioles? Had a big game earlier this week. He's eligible to play multiple positions. Is he a good pickup, or is he going to be limited in the at-bats he's going to get with the O's when they get all their starters in the field back?
Well, the thing is, when they get them all back is doing a lot of work here because Jackson Holliday just got shut down from his rehab assignment. Jordan Westburg's on a 60-day IL. So, and Kobe Mayo is really struggling. So Jackson's earning that playing time. I think he is a useful pickup for right now. And sometimes those bottom spots of your roster, those are Mr. Right Nows, not Mr. Rights.
Is this the time you want to trade with one of the players, one of the other teams in your league for Francisco Lindor? I mean, it's a real head scratcher about what's going on with him.
Yeah, the good news is he homered yesterday, first swing against Yamamoto. Pretty good home run there. he had the broken hamate bone. So, I mean, I think you got a perfectly good explanation for a slow start. And it's not his first slow start. You know, a couple of years ago, he had a really miserable, almost 2 months to the start of his season. He'll bounce back. Yeah, if you can get a little bit of a discount on Lindor, do so.
What about, it's funny, closers. We're always chasing closers. A couple of them go early in drafts. How concerned should owners be that have Jeff Hoffman of the Blue Jays at this point? You'd think he'd be getting a lot of saves because he's playing on one of the better teams.
No, he's blown 3 of them now. Last night was tough, and he couldn't find the strike zone. That was the thing that was really frustrating. But prior to last night, he had a 17-2 K to walk. Now he's got 18-5. It's still a good K to walk ratio overall, but last night was really brutal. They're going to get Jimmy Garcia back at some point in time. That's going to give them another option. I think right now with Garcia out, they're kind of really relying on Rogers and Varland to get the game to Hoffman. You know, he blew. He had a lot of blown saves last year. He had 15 homers allowed last year, and he still kept the job. So it's going to take something extraordinary for him to lose the job. I don't think he loses it off of this, but we're getting closer to that point.
Jeff, you're a Reds guy. We'll wrap with this. Emilio Pagan. Last night he was a little gimpy coming off the mound after he got the save in the game for the Reds against the Giants. How concerned should Pagan owners be? And is it a good idea to get Santillan? And is he the next guy up for the Reds to close games if Pagan is out for a while?
Yeah, I saw a report from Charlie Goldsmith that they think they avoided big damage here, but wouldn't be surprised if Pagan doesn't pitch tonight if there's a save chance. And maybe even for a couple of days, Santillan would be your first choice, I would suggest. I think Connor Phillips is also useful. Brock Burke has picked up a save when the big 3 for the Reds bullpen wasn't available. Big 3, including Graham Ashcraft, is also. I think they like Ashcraft in the role they have, where he can go multi-innings at times. So I think Santillan would be my first choice, though.
Hey, you got any other? Who's closing for the Brewers, by the way? What's going on with that?
To be determined. I saw a note from Adam McCalvey, the MLB.com reporter, suggesting they're going to have some talks about that. McGill's been pretty rough all season. Abner Uribe hasn't been amazing, though, either. I'd say Uribe is the obvious pivot, but we'll see if they go to that.
All right, Jeff, got to leave it there. Thanks for jumping on with us today. I do appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Dave.
All right, Jeff Erickson from Rotowire every week at this time to talk about fantasy sports. Let's take a break. We're coming back to wrap the hour in a moment.
Line presented by Salango Law will return right after these messages.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
For your daily fix of sports in West Virginia, there's only one stop.
I would imagine a group of you got together and watched the Mountaineers last night. What were your thoughts on that performance?
It was funny, we were sitting with a guy last night, and he said, all right, I'm going to go put $1,000 on it. Well, down the stretch of that ball game, he's looking at us like, are you kidding me? And sure enough, the Mountaineers came back. I saw him today. He said, yep, I'm putting another $1,000 on them tomorrow.
Sportsline on Metro News Television.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
All right, we'll take a break here at the top of hour number one. Get some news rolling. We'll take a look at what's been a pretty good day in the financial markets. Reset our question of the day about Tax Day 2026. Tom Bragg's going to be here to talk about Marshall and maybe a breaking story about golf. And Abrar Al-Heeti will be here with a tech news segment in about 35 minutes. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Still summer heat and thunderstorm potential through Saturday, but by Sunday, highs back in the 60s where our lows have been, and by then lows in the 30s. For the rest of the day, we'll look near and north of Wheeling for a marginal risk of large hail and damaging winds. Same hazards for the marginal threat on Thursday from Huntington to Morgantown and west of there. Similar spots have a slight risk already for Saturday. So the next few days, a lot of opportunity to see some thunderstorms that could do some damage for some communities. Even so, very quiet across the region overnight into Thursday. Then through Thursday afternoon and evening, we'll see shower and thunderstorm potential move on in from the west. We'll have lingering showers Friday before that system passes altogether. Here's your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. Temperatures pushing into the 80s and low 90s are not limited locally here. Wherever you're traveling in the coming days, still dressing for that summery weather. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast up until 7 p.m. Friday. A half inch locally for New Cumberland. Then amounts really drop off going south. Mid 60s is where we bottom out going into Thursday. Very mild this time of year. Low to mid 80s. These will be the coolest spots in the region on Thursday. Looking east, amounts drop off to nothing towards Charlestown. We will see temperatures staying in low to upper 60s here into Thursday, and the warmest spots back in some low 90s for Thursday. Hot for mid-April. Expanding west, commonly around 1/10 of an inch expected in the coming days, with temperatures bottoming out in low to mid 60s, and not as many 90s here, but still some mid 80s, very common for your Thursday. Ending in portions of southern West Virginia, we'll see a good 1/10 of an inch or so, including for Charleston. Looking at temperatures bottoming out in low to mid 60s, and then commonly in the low to upper 80s for your Thursday. When it comes to the rest of the forecast, we will be much quieter along with the cooler conditions starting Sunday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show. Hour number 2, How Do You Do? Metro News Hotline, keeping you company in the afternoon here in West Virginia every weekday from 3:06 right up until 6 o'clock. Wherever you're listening to the show today, inside the state or beyond the borders, just trying to get a read on what's going on back home. We hope you're having a good day. We're doing pretty well here in Charleston at our flagship 580 WCHS, a couple of blocks down on the right from Charleston Catholic High School. 84 degrees in the big town as we came on the air and getting a little warmer this afternoon. So we're having a pretty good show today. We got a lot of stuff to get into in this particular hour. You know, the financial markets have kind of like they're taking the war in the Middle East in stride. We're making all-time highs today on the S&P. We'll give you the numbers on that here in just a sec. Take a look at some West Virginia-related stocks. Reset our question of the day. Tom Bragg's here. Good to see you, Tom. Thanks for coming in. We will talk to Tom here in just a sec. We've got the entertainment report coming at 4:25. Bottom of the hour, Abrar Al-Heeti will be here with a tech news segment, so we enjoy that. A little bit later on in the hour, we'll open up the On the State file, and we're keeping our eyes on what's going on in Major League Baseball this afternoon. Got some games that are in the afternoon. The Pirates are playing tonight against the Nats in Pittsburgh. The Reds are hosting the Giants. WVU's got a game that starts at 5:30 in Hagerstown against Penn State, and Marshall's on the road tonight to take on Ohio State in Columbus. So we're keeping our eyes on all of that stuff. We'll play in or out also in the 5 o'clock hour. That'll be at around 5:25. Speaking of the markets, get beyond the headlines Thursday at 3:45 on Metro News Hotline. Matt Harris will be here for Money Minutes from Huntington Bank. Portfolio managers delivering market analysis, examining the trends behind the scenes, and providing insightful commentary to help your investments work for you. Real expertise, real answers, Money Minutes from Huntington Bank. That's this Thursday, tomorrow at 3:45, only here on Hotline. Let's take a quick break, or take a quick look at what happened in the financial markets today. So the Dow was down 0.2%, lost 72 points. The Dow closing at 48,463. The S&P 500, what war? What are you talking about? The S&P was up 0.8%, gained almost 56 points today, closing north of 7,000 at 7,022. NASDAQ was the big percentage gainer. Big tech has come back in a big, big way the last couple of sessions. NASDAQ up 1.6%, tacked on 377 points today. NASDAQ back over 24K at 24,016 at the close. Among stocks of local interest to West Virginia that were big percentage gainers or losers today, kind of a mixed bag today. Heavy industry, Caterpillar was down 3.3%, lost $25.78 per share, finishing the day at $768.47. Stocks, though, the tech continues to roll here. A couple of the other things that are related to West Virginia. Lowe's was down 2% today, lost $5.03, $243.41 at the close today. In the energy space, well, oil today flat, down 0.3%, lost 29 cents. WTI in the NYMEX closed at $90.99, and natural gas at the moment up a penny. It's continuing to trade. Nat gas trades 23 out of the 24 hours a day at $2.61 per unit at the moment. And what about Bitcoin? Bitcoin today right now is up 0.9%, has tacked on a little more than $600, going at $74,786 per coin. All right, question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. Just in case you forgot, today is tax day. Question of the day, sponsored by Salango Law. Here's the scenario. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? You just got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? Text those in, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. I'm on Exit Weekly. WEEKLEY, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Coop would mention that, we don't do politics here. So I kind of felt like this would be a question of the day that some of people would lean into politics. I'll see them, but I'm not going to read them, okay?
I think that's fair. That's fair.
I'll see them, but I'm not going to read them. Let's see. Matthew, Dave, a round of golf at Pebble Beach. Could you get that done for $1,000?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking. World Cup tickets, but you can't get World Cup tickets for $1,000.
Man, for the World Cup. Now this is pretty crazy. I was hearing earlier today about parking.
Oh yeah, you can't park.
No, you can't park,
and they're forcing you to use the public transpo, and they're jacking up the prices. I saw MetLife, which is hosting the final. You can't park in the parking lot. You cannot tailgate. Only way in and out is to take the train. And they're special trains they have just going to and from the stadium for the World Cup, and they jack the prices up like 7 times. It's going to cost you $100+ to get to and from the World Cup game, on top of the thousands of dollars you're spending on tickets.
And that's only the group games.
Yeah,
those are only if you want to go to the big games at the end. You can park at the mall, I guess, which is across the street from Giant Stadium. And some of those parking spots are going to be $300.
Man, they really messed this up just with the financials of it all. It was one of, I was 10 years old when the World Cup came last time and didn't get to go, and always thought, like, man, if it ever comes back and I'm an adult, we're going to move heaven and earth, and we're going to go. You just can't, like, logically spend that amount of money, especially having a family. It's not just you going. You're trying to take the whole family. You're talking multiple mortgage payments just to go to a game that you don't even really get to pick your seats, and it's probably going to be a crappy game. It's just what a mess they've made of it. I'm looking forward to the tournament, but man, all of the outside noise has been bad for this tournament.
Coop, what's the most you've ever paid to park?
Oh man, that's a good question.
You ever paid more than $40 to park?
I think that 40 might be about. I think I remember paying 40 once, and I can't remember paying any more. So I think I want to stick with 40. I think that might be it.
I remember I was at a spring training baseball game where people wanted $60 to park.
No thanks.
At a spring training game. I mean, I basically found a place in the neighborhood and walked like a half a mile back to the stadium for the game.
Yeah.
But that's crazy to think about $300 just to park. Just to park. Now, all right, let's get into some stuff here. You know, I sent you a note about Marshall's spring football game over the weekend, and the buzz is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Looking pretty good. A lot of returners. Marshall's football team really wasn't hurt that badly by players who got into the portal. Got a couple of quarterbacks. Bradshaw's back. Payne's back. There was a lot of chatter he might not be back. He is. Over on the defensive side of the ball, between Tony Gibson and Brad Lambert, you think you're going to get that straightened out? Cautiously optimistic.
You would hope. There were signs or moments last season where you thought they had figured it out on defense, and it just kind of didn't work out that way. Yeah, I think anything comparatively to the exodus last season would seem tame as far as guys coming and going from the program. They do have a lot of guys back. I take any of the reports about a spring game, and not just Marshall, any spring game, with a grain of salt. They're going 3/4 speed against their own guys. The coaches aren't really into the game a lot of the time. You know, it's just, and we've run spring games down, I think, every episode I've been on for the last month, and maybe we'll wrap it up here. But yeah, I think there's reason for optimism at Marshall if you look at what's coming back and finally a little stability. There's not the Willie or won't-he with the head coach position. I mean, even before Huff left, that was a constant off-season conversation about whether he was going to stick around very long. So I think a little stability is good for this program. We'll see if what the fans saw last Saturday bears out in the summer workouts and getting into the fall. But I think there's reason to be optimism. But, yeah, I would take any spring game report with a grain of salt.
I agree. I totally agree with that. Marshall opened with Georgia last year. That didn't go very well. This year they open at Penn State. So, you know, Matt Campbell's going to want to do what Matt Campbell does. So I think obviously that's, you know, it's going to be a very difficult game to keep it close. Hopefully you get out of that game without any injuries. The other thing about Sunbelt football I wanted to talk to you about is it's beginning to look over the last 48 hours, it looks like Louisiana Tech is actually going to be in the Sunbelt this year. Although I have to say, some of the screen captures of Louisiana Tech's football schedule when they were both in the belt and in Conference USA, where you had that 24-game schedule, that looked pretty well. I guess it was more like 20 games.
It looked a lot like our kids' soccer schedules, where they have 2 and 3 games scheduled every day. So, yeah, I mean, it's. I'm still of the mind that you could have waited on Louisiana Tech if you're the Sun Belt. They probably still would have been there next time around. I think there were, selfishly, from the Marshall perspective, probably better choices. Western Kentucky. Maybe East Carolina. I don't know. The MAC seems like it's not really on stable ground, or not the stable ground you're used to the MAC being on. There could have been a chance for, Ohio U or Miami or somebody. That's pipe dream stuff. But Louisiana Tech, I think they could have waited on, but they're here now. And it'll be interesting. But again, from the Marshall perspective, how many years did they spend in Conference USA with Louisiana Tech, and how many times did they play them? There's not a lot of old connection. It's not like with, Southern Miss, when Marshall and Southern Miss were both in Conference USA. They played each other every year. That wasn't the case with Louisiana Tech. So maybe some of the other schools that are a little closer in proximity have that old-time rivalry with Louisiana Tech. Will be psyched for this, but for Marshall, it's kind of lukewarm for me.
Yeah, if one of the reasons that Louisiana Tech is in the Sun Belt is to make sure that ULM stays solvent. Is that really doesn't move the needle for me?
No, not at all.
And you ever been to Louisiana Tech? You ever been to Ruston?
No, I have not.
All right. Well, I've been there a couple of times.
I bet you have.
Yeah, I've been to Ruston a couple of times.
Is there anywhere you haven't been a couple of times?
Well,
in that part of the world,
it's pretty easy. It's not real hard to get lost in Ruston because there's only 2 exits. So
you're talking to a guy who managed to get lost in Ames, Iowa, with Justin Jackson one time.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's another story. We put a rental truck in a snow ditch up there, and we're late for the game. Had to get a police escort into the game.
Hey, you know what, Coop? I was going to bring you in on this. It's too bad we didn't have this story yesterday when Todd Wright was on the show with us, because the internets are awash with stories that Live Golf's about to collapse.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so Live Golf, we're not sure. They may get one more tournament in. They may go to the end of the year, but it looks like Live Golf is going away. So for those guys who got paid, congratulations.
I hope they saved it up. I'm curious what the reception will be when they of course, try to matriculate
Yeah,
back into the old
Yeah, that's
PGA.
my question. So what happens there? Does all of the the live or die guys, are they now going to have to go back with hat in hand and be like, please, sir, can we play on the?
Or is it the other? Do they have the scarlet letter on them now, and they're just like, no, thanks, you guys left? I doubt that because of the pull that some of those guys would
they
have.
need the TV ratings,
but
I
maybe
think,
not
for
all
some
of them.
guys. Yeah, I know. That's a good question, right?
That's crazy to think about. I mean, the whole concept of team golf that they were trying to push, just the idea that you would play tournaments, 54 holes, and you would play as a part of a team, that never really seemed to capture the imagination. There were problems all the way down the line. I mean, first of all, they couldn't get all the affiliates that had Live Golf. Some, for political reasons, wouldn't carry that stuff. They were essentially, they've how much money did they pile into this thing? Like $5 billion?
It was a ton of money.
It was basically pulling like the ratings that pickleball gets. Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's a huge win for the PGA.
I've never been a diehard golf guy, but I'm a sports guy. So, worked in the paper for years and years. You had to keep tabs on it. Live just never moved the needle for me. I mean, if the PGA wasn't doing it, Live was. I mean, I know the money was different, but it was essentially the minor leagues as far as my brain was concerned. It was just something that did not even register.
Well, here's a problem I had. I like to, we just had Jeff Erickson on to talk a little bit about fantasy baseball. I like to play fantasy golf, and when you would get ready to play fantasy golf and you would take a look at the PGA event and you would see who was in it, it's like, who are these people? I have no idea who they are. Why do I care? I don't want to do this. When the majority of the big-name guys in the sport were on the Live Tour.
Yeah.
Now that if the Live golfers are coming back, and who knows when they're coming back to the PGA Tour, that's got to do a lot for their ratings and just interest in the game, I think.
You would think, but those same guys weren't pulling ratings on the other side. So, I mean, a big game and big name in golf, what's that worth today?
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, if you're trying to follow Live Golf with a format that you don't understand and it's on a channel that you don't really normally get, it's a little bit different than when it plays on NBC or CBS on the weekends.
Yeah,
We'll see.
For the casual fan, it's the majors, and you need the big guys at the majors. And I think outside of that, golf's in a weird spot.
There was another thing about this where they were talking about, remember when Live started, that the bigger names from the Live Tour were doing better in the majors, but DeChambeau didn't make the cut this week. Koepka's back on the PGA Tour, but the thought is that many of these guys would not perform as well in the majors going forward because the courses they were playing on the Live Tour just weren't that tough.
Yeah, Sergio's a Live guy, isn't he? He had the big meltdown this weekend.
Yeah, he did. He had a really big meltdown. Hey, you and I were talking about soccer before we came on and started this segment. Marshall basically owns the spring league, don't they? I mean, they didn't even give up a goal this year again, and they won it at Ohio State last weekend.
Yeah, they looked really good this spring. I think one of the big problems for Marshall last season when things didn't go well is they just weren't stable at the goalkeeper position. And I do not know the man's name, but they went and got the goalkeeper from Gardner and Webb. Soccer fans in the state might remember the Gardner and Webb game in Morgantown last year. This guy stood on his head and shut out WVU. That doesn't happen very often. So I think the folks in Huntington took note, and when the portal opened, they went and got that guy, and he was incredible in the spring. We'll see when the lights come on and the games count for real in the fall how well he plays, but it seems like, Chris Grassie's one of the best recruiters in the world when it comes to college soccer, and it's just another case if he went out and got some more guys to fill those spots.
Finally, is there any correlation between doing well in the spring league and the ranking that you get in the preseason nationally?
I think maybe a little bit, maybe not a one-to-one correlation, like this doesn't beget that, but I think when people take that in consideration, when they look at, well, what does the team have coming back? What did they add? How did they perform in the spring? Is it looking like it's going to work? And for Marshall, it looks like it's going to work right now.
All right, that's good. Tom, we got to leave it there.
Absolutely.
Thanks for jumping on with us. Let's take a quick break. We're coming back with the entertainment report in just a minute.
Don't forget about our podcast. Check out your favorite podcast provider or simply go to WVMetroNews.com and click on the podcast link. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it. So I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
As part of a country feels like when the bill comes and you gotta split it, but you only got wings. Like, hey, I got 6 wings. All right, there are 6 sets of bones in my basket. I didn't take any errant bites or anything. And some of y'all are alcoholics. I am not prepared to split this bill with you. You have your barbecue sauce old fashions. You have your... Not down for this.
That's so good. Perfect for tax day, right? Absolutely perfect for tax day. All right, we're almost halfway home on this edition of Metro News Hotline. Thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. Coming up in about 5 minutes, Abrar Al-Heeti will be here with a tech news segment. That's always a good time. But right now, we are going to get into Talkin' TV and more. Here are the latest entertainment headlines today from ABC.
ABC Entertainment News.
The nominees for the American Music Awards have now been announced. Taylor Swift received the most nominations with 8 nods. Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Dean, and Somber followed close behind with 7 nominations each. Voting for the fan-selected awards is now open at voteamas.com. The American Music Awards will air on CBS and stream on Paramount Plus on May 25th.
We're in the game.
Jumanji stars Dwayne Johnson, Jack Black, and Kevin Hart reunited at CinemaCon on Monday, where they announced the title for their third film. Jumanji Open World is set to release in theaters on December 25th. Lin-Manuel Miranda has announced the starry cast for his film adaptation of Octet. The musical movie will star Amanda Seyfried, Rachel Zegler, Cheryl Lee Ralph, Gaten Matarazzo, Jonathan Groff, Tramell Tillman, Philippa Sue, and Paul Jordan Jansen. And happy birthday to Emma Watson, who's 36 today. Mike Dubosky, ABC News.
Mike, thank you. Today in television news and from streaming news, how about this? Kate Blanchett's going to portray Martha Stewart in an upcoming biopic, Good Thing. Stewart confirmed the project during a red carpet interview, revealing she was hearing rumors about Blanchett's casting. The title refers to Stewart's famous catchphrase, "It's a good thing." The film will chronicle Stewart's rise as a lifestyle media mogul in the 1990s and the early 2000s. And Paramount Plus has ordered a 3rd season of The Madison. The drama premiered in March and quickly became the most-watched debut for a Taylor Sheridan series, drawing 8 million viewers in the first 10 days. Let's take a quick break for news. Coming back with a tech news segment in a moment. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Still summer heat and thunderstorm potential through Saturday, but by Sunday, highs back in the 60s where our lows have been, and by then lows in the 30s. For the rest of the day, we'll look near and north of Wheeling for a marginal risk of large hail and damaging winds. Same hazards for the marginal threat on Thursday from Huntington to Morgantown and west of there. Similar spots have a slight risk already for Saturday. So the next few days, a lot of opportunity to see some thunderstorms that could do some damage for some communities. Even so, very quiet across the region overnight into Thursday. Then through Thursday afternoon and evening, we'll see shower and thunderstorm potential move on in from the west. We'll have lingering showers Friday before that system passes altogether. Here's your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. Temperatures pushing into the 80s and low 90s are not limited locally here. Wherever you're traveling in the coming days, still dressing for that summery weather. Panhandle to panhandle forecast up until 7 p.m. Friday, a ½ inch locally for New Cumberland, then amounts really drop off going south. Mid-60s is where we bottom out going into Thursday. Very mild this time of year. Low to mid-80s. These will be the coolest spots in the region on Thursday. Looking east, amounts drop off to nothing towards Charlestown. We will see temperatures staying in low to upper 60s here into Thursday, and the warmest spots back in some low 90s for Thursday. Hot for mid-April. Expanding west, commonly around 1/10 of an inch expected in the coming days, with temperatures bottoming out in low to mid-60s, and not as many 90s here, but still some mid-80s, very common for your Thursday. Ending in portions of southern West Virginia, we'll see a good 1/10 of an inch or so, including for Charleston, looking at temperatures bottoming out in low to mid-60s, and then commonly in the low to upper 80s for your Thursday. When it comes to the rest of the forecast, we will be much quieter along with the cooler conditions starting Sunday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
On the next State of Minds.
When something like punk rock comes around, it's very anti everything, and people were really looking down on what they were brought up with. And for us, we found it was kind of fun to embrace it.
Is it a moment or like they're having an episode?
No, but you're right. You're right. We are having a moment. Yeah.
The conversation starts long before the game.
He doesn't do this to other guests, but every time I'm on here, he creates distractions.
Disrespectful.
With his phone. I mean,
I have to have the phone on in case Pete Thamel breaks another story.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television, available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNews.com.
See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
All right, welcome back. 26 minutes till the hour. We will open up the On the State file in just a bit. Abrar Al-Heeti coming up in just a sec. You know what, though? Let's do a quick reset on our question of the day because it is tax day. Tax day, just in case you forgot. If you could forget. Today's tax day. Hotline question of the day. It's sponsored by Salango Law. Hey, you just got a surprise $1,000 refund. But there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? That's the question. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? To get involved in that, send us a note on. You can send us a note in a couple of ways on social media. Text those in. 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. We got a ton of responses, by the way. We'll get into more of these at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock. You can also reach me on Exit Weekly, WEEKLEY, one word, 3 E's, WEEKLEY. Abrar Al-Heeti, senior editor at CNET, joins me now for a tech news segment. We would love to talk tech with her. Abrar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this story about getting the ability to edit your comments on Instagram. Yes. I had no idea you could do that. And I tell you what, that is a good thing for me, because how many times do you think you've tried to respond on one of these services, or you're thinking, you know what, I've got a couple of thoughts here, but I don't know if I can correctly put a couple of sentences together without screwing this up?
Oh, 100%. You would think that I, as a writer, am not as prone to typos as I am, but my goodness, the amount of times I've had to delete an Instagram comment because I couldn't edit it. This is long overdue. So finally, I made sure that I had this ability, because this has been rolling out. You can, after you post a comment, you have 15 minutes to tap the edit button and tweak any of those typos. If you want to reword what you said because you feel like you didn't quite get it that first time, we can finally do that. And it is wild to me that it took until now for this to roll out on Instagram, given how long it's been around.
You know what? Coop, jump in on this too. I mean, when you send a text message, and this happens when I send you text messages all the time, you'll send me something about the show, and I'll respond to you in a sentence, and I'll make a mistake in it. Then you have that weird moment where you have to correct the sentence that you messed up. How to do that correctly is always kind of weird. I always try to put it in parentheses, like I don't know what word I'm trying to spell.
Yeah, that's my typical thing is I'll just put an asterisk and then the word that I meant, assuming that the person's smart enough to be like, okay, well, I didn't think it made any sense for him to say spaghetti here. So down here where it says sunrise, that makes a lot more sense, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, man, they're also talking about Instagram is testing a whole bunch of features for a premium level. I have an Instagram account and I go over there occasionally and look at stuff. Is there a premium level already on Instagram?
Not yet. They're kind of testing this out in certain countries, but this would be kind of more minimal things like extending your story. If you don't want it to expire after 24 hours, you can extend it. You could have one of your stories spotlighted, or this is fun for people who like to lurk. You can kind of get a preview of somebody's story before you actually view it so that they don't know that you've looked at it. I don't know if I feel like that's very fair. I feel like I need to know who's been looking at my stories, even if they're paying to not be listed. But But yeah, they're kind of just trying to find new ways to kind of make some money off of us.
You know, you took a hiatus from our show for a few weeks because of some other commitments you had at CNET. And one of the stories that broke during that period, I wanted to get your take on. What was it like around the CNET office when suddenly, without warning, Elon Musk and X decided that the old TweetDeck that was once free, then you had to pay $8 a month, was suddenly $40 a month?
Oh my goodness.
What was the reaction there?
We must have been focused on so many things that didn't even come up. But I remember TweetDeck being just so central to our social efforts. And it is quite a price hike. We're so used to price hikes these days, but to see something jump by that much, it's very shocking, unsettling, unnecessary. But if I imagine if this was in our heyday of posting on Twitter, now X, it would be riots all over the office, and because most of us would be in the office together reacting in real time.
I think one of the things that they basically looked at their subscribers, their users, and they said, we've basically got the power users under a barrel. I mean, you've already committed so many resources to building this elaborate, what used to be the TweetDeck, that you're going to pay this no matter what. But the way they rolled it out with absolutely no warning, and for the people who had already paid, maybe 1 or 2 years in advance, suddenly they had no access to this thing. I mean, literally, they pulled the plug on it with no warning.
Yeah, that's not a great PR strategy, at least, to get people to stay. And then, of course, people are going to look for alternatives. They're going to look for ways to, how do I get the same thing done without being committed to this platform that I just don't want to spend that much money on.
Let me ask you about a couple other stories you sent me. This is pretty interesting. Why is Spotify suddenly in the business of selling me physical books? Why are they doing that?
Question. Why would they do that? So I think, I'm still in the mindset of Spotify is for music, but now that they have audiobook capabilities, they are now looking for ways to also get a hard copy of a book into your hands. So say you're listening to an audiobook, you're going to see this button that says, get a copy for your bookshelf. And then it'll link to bookshop.org. This is a place where you can buy from local independent bookstores. There are other things that Spotify has done to kind of tap into the audiobook craze, having a recap as you're listening. If you're like, I don't remember what happened up until this point, you'll get an audio recap. There's also audiobook charts in the same way that you can look at music charts and podcast charts and see what's trending. It's really interesting to see. I feel like there's so much to think about here about why audiobooks are having this moment on Spotify. I wonder if part of it is people just don't have the time or the mental capacity to read books anymore. And so audiobooks are rising in popularity. I feel like that might be part of it. I feel like I live this life where I'm always on the go. And so maybe an audiobook is more a more tangible thing than picking up a physical book. But here they are tapping into physical books too. So trying to see how those things two merge is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I just think that's really crazy. Do you remember the first time you saw a person with a Kindle? I mean, it's like, this is magic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You could just, at the tap of a button, you can have any book you want on that thing. Kindles are great for when you're traveling too, if you don't want to carry big, bulky things. Yeah.
Coop, what'd you tell me about the Kindle story about Amazon? If you have Kindles before 2012, they're going to be dead because they can't get ads.
Yeah, they can't insert the ads into the book. My understanding is that they can't give it the upgrade that allows it to insert ads, and so they're just going to discontinue service for them. So make sure you get your ads in your books.
That's Amazon for you.
I don't even know what an ad looks like in a Kindle. I mean, when you try to turn a page, the ad appears, or does the ad appear on the page?
I have no idea.
That would make me riot. No, what happens is, I know this because I bought a Kindle a couple years ago for the first time, and your lock screen is where the ad would show up. And at first I thought, I don't mind, it's fine. I'll just have, the ad on the lock screen. And then I decided this doesn't look cute. I don't like this. So I actually paid the $20 to remove the ads, and it's a one-time $20 fee that I paid. So not too crazy, but I just hated seeing random ads on my Kindle that that doesn't seem like a fit to me. But if it was in between pages, I would actually throw it out the window.
Stop me if you've heard this story before. Phone prices are going up, right?
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what we want to hear.
Yeah, phone prices are going up. So 24 Samsung phones and tablets are now more expensive, and this is just the start.
This is just the start. This kind of all traces back to a memory shortage. So because AI is everywhere, there's this memory crunch. And so we're going to see more phones get more expensive. And so we've seen already the Galaxy Z Flip 7 and the Z Fold 7 go up by about $80. Tablets are also getting pricier. And the thing about this is it's not like it's a new phone that has a price hike over last year's model. These are phones and tablets that are already on the market, that have been on the market for almost a year and are now getting more expensive. That's what really puzzles me about this. And so I don't know what that means for new products. As we get new products, will the next generation be $100 more than last year's? It's not really a great direction for consumers.
So Galaxy Z Fold 7 is going up $80, and the 1 terabyte edition is $2,500. If you had seen this story like 10 years ago, you would have thought this was a story from The Onion, that somebody was going to pay $2,500 for a phone. But I mean, that's just the way things are now.
It's just the way things are. And these are premium devices, but it's still like, you think about it. I was just thinking about how much a phone costs versus how much a tablet costs versus how much a laptop costs. Like, there doesn't seem to be any logic of like a phone needs to be significantly cheaper than these bigger, more powerful products. Everything is so expensive. Everything is at $1,000 or more, or $2,000 or more. It's actually, it's insane to think about.
All right. So finally, we're talking about the fact that some Samsung phones are going up in price. Give me the details on how to get your share of the Comcast data breach settlement. They make you jump through hoops on this. How tough is it to actually get a piece of some of this settlement?
Well, it's, we have an article on our site where you can find the link to figure out if you can file, but essentially you have to have been notified that you were part of this data breach back in 2023. There are a couple ways you could either prove how much time was lost to protect your data, because things like the last word of your social were stolen, your name, passwords, things like that. So if you could prove how much time it took you to recover that, then you can get those out-of-pocket costs back. Or if you're like, you know what, I don't want to do all that, you can just take a one-time smaller portion that might be around $50, but it just depends how many people file with these things, right? If a lot of people file, you might only get a few bucks. If fewer people file, you might get a little bit more. So you have to do this by August 14th. So you have a little bit of time, but time flies. So if you got a notification about this data breach, if you've been affected, I would recommend filing as soon as possible.
Here's the date I'd like to know. In a situation where you had 36 million Xfinity customers who had their personal data stolen, what percentage of them will ever get paid? What percentage of them will take the time to actually go through this process and get their money back? I'm going to... What are we talking? I mean, what are we talking here? I'm saying I feel confidently it's less than 5%, and it's probably going to be maybe less than 1%.
I think you might be onto something here. I think these things get buried in our inboxes. Somebody might never even see this. They might be affected and they might not even know. There's also so many of these things floating around that I feel like we all qualify for so many of these settlements, and we don't see it, or we forget to file. I feel like I've done this. I'm like, I just missed out on a $400 payment from Facebook because I forgot to file for this settlement.
There you go.
So that hurts. So I think you're right. I think a very small percentage of people are actually following these things and filing them before the deadline and getting that money. And the onus really is on the consumer to stay on top of it and make sure that they get their money.
Coop, if you were an Xfinity customer who had their personal data stolen, okay, would you get back involved with these people to potentially get $50 back?
Yeah, I mean, that seems a little bit ridiculous. Probably not. I mean, but whose data is not stolen anymore? So I don't know. What does it matter?
And on that,
I've gotten payouts for like $4.30, like for like Meta stuff.
Yeah, I got $1.12, I think, from Meta once or something like that. Yeah.
And on that happy note, we have to bring this to a close. Abrar Al-Heeti with another tech news segment. Thanks for jumping on with us today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll open up the On This State file. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Brittany Hedrick. As an environmental project manager at CEC, working in West Virginia, the land taught me respect and responsibility. Whether it's navigating complex regulations or overseeing site assessments, I ensure every project thrives. CEC isn't just where I work, it's where I make a difference. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit cecinc.com.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law, will return right after these messages.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind.
And onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
All right, welcome back. 8 minutes till the hour. Time to crack open the On This Date file. start with the birthdays. Always start with the sports birthdays. Got some good sports birthdays today. Ted Sizemore. Former National League Rookie of the Year, played for the Dodgers, the Cardinals, 3 other teams. He's 81 years old today. Dara Torres. Man, she had a piece of a dozen Olympic swimming medals in the 84, 88, 92, 2000, and 08 games. Amazing. 59 years old today. Antonio Cromartie, pretty good player. First-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. He had a 109-yard interception return for a touchdown. That's an NFL record. He's 42 years old today. Michael Cooper, Koopaloop from the Lakers, 70. Kevin Stevens, he was part of 2 Penguins Stanley Cup teams in 91 and 92. He's 61 years old. Let's go back to March 21st, 1991. The Penguins are hosting the Rangers at the old Civic Arena, and John Van Beesbrook mishandles a puck 13 seconds into overtime, and the Penguins win.
So at 4-4, overtime begins. Kevin Stevens shoots the puck in behind Van Beesbrook. He juggled it. They've scored. The Penguins have won it. What a remarkable turn of events. Van Beesbrook bobbled the puck and knocked it into his own net, and the Penguins win 5-4. They can argue all they want, but that puck was definitely over the goal line. It was very obvious to everyone except John Van Beesbrook.
Happy birthday, Kevin Stevens. He is 61 years old. Seth Rogen having a birthday today. He's 44. On this date in 1992, Leona Helmsley, the hotel magnate, the Queen of Mean, begins a 4-year prison sentence.
But things went downhill. The Helmsleys were indicted for not paying their taxes. And while Harry did not have to face charges because of his health, Leona did.
I am not going to jail. I've done nothing wrong. I have done nothing wrong. I'm innocent. My only crime is that I'm Leona Helmsley.
Newspaper headlines blared that she once told a maid only the little people pay taxes, something she always denied, she said.
We paid $344 million in taxes. Of course I didn't say it.
The U.S. Supreme Court turned down an appeal for Helmsley, and after a federal judge ordered her to serve a 4-year prison sentence, Leona Helmsley collapsed and was rushed to the hospital where she was treated for a heart irregularity and hypertension. Only a month later, she was off to jail.
Leona Helmsley spent 21 months in jail. She died August 20th, 2007 at the age of 87. Our musical birthday to the break. How about Dave Edmonds from Rockpile Solo Efforts? 82 years old today. The 5 things to know at 5 o'clock in sports are next.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
On the next State of Minds. I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Being present matters.
Sports headlines. We're about 30 minutes away from the first pitch between WVU and Penn State in Hagerstown. Marshall at Ohio State in Columbus at 6 o'clock. And earlier today, the Orioles were losers at home to the Diamondbacks 8-5. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Still summer heat and thunderstorm potential through Saturday, but by Sunday, highs back in the 60s where our lows have been, and by then lows in the 30s. For the rest of the day, we'll look near and north of Wheeling for a marginal risk of large hail and damaging winds. Same hazards for the marginal threat on Thursday from Huntington to Morgantown and west of there. Similar spots have a slight risk already for Saturday. So the next few days, a lot of opportunity to see some thunderstorms that could do some damage for some communities. Even so, very quiet across the region overnight into Thursday. Then through Thursday afternoon and evening, we'll see shower and thunderstorm potential move on in from the west. We'll have lingering showers Friday before that system passes altogether. Here's your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. Temperatures pushing into the 80s and low 90s are not limited locally here. Wherever you're traveling in the coming days, still dressing for that summery weather. Panhandle to panhandle forecast up until 7 p.m. Friday. A ½ inch locally for New Cumberland, then amounts really drop off going south. Mid 60s is where we bottom out going into Thursday. Very mild this time of year. Low to mid 80s. These will be the coolest spots in the region on Thursday. Looking east, amounts drop off to nothing towards Charlestown. We will see temperatures staying in low to upper 60s here into Thursday, and the warmest spots back in some low 90s for Thursday. Hot for mid-April. Expanding west, commonly around 1/10 of an inch expected in the coming days, with temperatures bottoming out in low to mid 60s, and not as many 90s here, but still some mid 80s, very common for your Thursday. Ending in portions of southern West Virginia, we'll see a good 1/10 of an inch or so, including for Charleston. Looking at temperatures bottoming out in low to mid 60s, and then commonly in the low to upper 80s for your Thursday. When it comes to the rest of the forecast, we will be much quieter along with the cooler conditions starting Sunday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
This is Metro News Hotline, presented by Salango Law. Metro News Hotline is a 3-hour audio tour, navigating the world of sports, news, entertainment, tech, and more from a Mountain State point of view. Hotline is a no politics zone. You can join the conversation. Text the show at 304-825-5304. 304-TALK-304. Here's the host for Metro News Hotline, Dave Weekley.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's 5:06 in West Virginia, and it's time to start the third and final hour of our program today, Metro News Hotline. Thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. We got a lot of stuff we got to get into before we wrap it up today at 6 o'clock, and we appreciate your listening. Hey, I want to make just a quick note here that, hey, we're happy to have you whenever we can get you to tune into the program. I know a lot of you only get a chance to check us out when you're in the car, when you're leaving work, or you're in the car and you're driving here, there, and everywhere. Just want to make you aware, the podcast is available for you. It's at the website. Well, it's everywhere, but you know, the website is a really great resource to get that. WVMetronews.com. You'll find our podcast available there of this program. All the other shows on the network are also podcasts, and they are right there at the website, WVMetronews.com. Get over there, hit the podcast link. You'll find all that stuff. So you can listen to the entire show. You can pick out any individual hours. There are little bits and pieces of things that we do that are available as podcasts. Coop, the one that we were talking about yesterday after the show, is the Chris Sabo interview up as a podcast?
Yes, it is. That's actually on the video streams as well.
Oh, nice.
There's a video podcast of it.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun with that. We did that yesterday, and he's going to be the grand marshal of the Little League Parade at Nitro. That'll be on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. So we talked to him for about 10 minutes yesterday. And if you missed that, you can always just go to the website and check it out, WVMetronews.com. Then, you can't really get away from the show. We're on YouTube now. We're on Facebook Live. There's all kinds of ways you can listen and watch. But you do want to be aware that the program is available as a podcast as well. You know what? Our question of the day has to do with the fact that it's tax day. And we got some pretty interesting responses to this question of the day. It is tax day, April the 15th. So Here's the hotline question of the day, and it is sponsored by Salango Law. Here's the scenario. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? You got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? To respond, you can get into the text line, 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. I'm on X2 at Weekly, WEEKLEY. I'm going to get into some of these responses here, but I did want to just mention this. We talked about this in the 3 o'clock hour about weird facts about tax day. And
now you can meet with a turbo.
And one of the things that came up with that really got a couple of people talking was this fact that due to an advertising effort from Woolworths back in 1938, they used a real person's Social Security card as a sample placed into wallets they were selling. 40,000 people, actually a little over 40,000 people, filed their income taxes. And somebody sent me a text on this. I thought this was pretty good. 304-231. Dave, I wonder how many of those Social Security card users ended up being serial killers. Well, they did have a Social Security number that they got from the Woolworth wallet. That is funny. Let me get a couple of quick responses to this particular question of the day. Once again, the question was, you got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? Let's see here. Oh, how about this? John in Martinsburg's going to the WVU game. He's on his way to the game right now.
Okay, well, that's good stuff.
There
right?
is. He says he's on his way to Meredith Park in Hagerstown right now. Where you go, John? You know, I like when John tells me what he's up to. When he goes to the O's games or, you know, he always have one trip out to Arlington where he goes and sees the Rangers when the O's are in town?
Seems like it.
So, John, hey, man, have a good time at the game. You know, that is such an odd situation where WVU is playing Penn State today in Hagerstown in a midweek game on a Wednesday. First pitch in that game is now less than 20 minutes away. We're going to hear from Steve Sabins here in just a second. Let me get a couple of more responses to our question of the day. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund. Here's the catch. You got to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? 304-777. Dave, this is easy. Beer. Beer. 304-646. Dave, I'm spending it on dinner. One heck of a meal. Let's see. You got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? 304-692. Dave, my question of the day answer for you today. Gym membership. Gym membership. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Oh, Coop. Now, here's a response from a person who knows our show.
Okay.
And is a regular listener. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. What are you buying? 304-216. A metal detector. A metal detector. The opportunity for it to pay for itself is nil, but it's great for old retired men. That's a follow-up from a conversation that we had on Monday, right? On Monday's show.
Right.
Where my wife Linda basically said out of the blue that I was too old for a metal detector. How old is too old for a metal detector?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you, Mr. 304-216 for that throwback. That is pretty good. Here's Bill in Nitro. He's got a response to this too. He says, Hey, Dave and Coop, if I was surprised with $1,000, I would buy a new set of golf clubs. That's completely useless because I can't use the two sets I already have. By the way, I have met you in person, and I think you're a nice guy. That's from Bill in Nitro. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, that was a spinoff of a conversation that we had in the 3 o'clock hour, where on Facebook somebody mentioned me and said that I passed him on the street and didn't even say hello. Like
see how you are, man.
Yes, I guess that's just how I roll, right? A couple more here. Let's see. 681-981. Dave, no longer in the 240. If I got a surprise $1,000, I would buy a Betamax player with a bunch of blank tapes and an Evel Knievel stunt cycle and an 8-track. Boy, that's random. That's really random.
That is really random.
That's
yeah.
really random. Hey, oh man, we got so many responses to this question of the day. You know what? I'm going to save a couple of these for 5:30, and we'll get back to this in just a second. Coop, yesterday we had a Tickets Tuesday.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, and we had so much trouble giving. Well, we didn't have trouble giving the tickets away. We had trouble finding a contestant to win those tickets, but we finally did.
Yeah.
But we finally did. So congratulations to our winner. He'll be going to see a Reds game against the Astros on Sunday, May the 10th. It's a 1:40 game at the ballpark. But I've done this before. I have forgotten to pay off the questions of the day that some contestants wanted but answered incorrectly.
So
this
okay,
is normal. This is the part of the process where I ask you those questions.
That part.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you ready to? The first one's about baseball.
Yeah, I guess I'm ready.
You want to?
Sure.
You want to go for that? So J.J. Weatherholt, we featured him in the 3 o'clock hour. The Cardinals, by the way, won today. They beat Cleveland, and Weatherholt and Victor Scott both walked twice in the game today, and both stole bases today, which is that's a relative rarity, I would imagine. So one of the topics yesterday was righty-lefty, and J.J. Weatherholt, the former Mountaineer, currently in his rookie season with the St. Louis Cardinals, leading off at the moment, playing second base for the Redbirds. He's a left-handed hitter but a right-handed thrower. Many players who are naturally right-handed are taught to hit left-handed to be a step closer to first base and have a better visual angle against right-handed pitchers who make up the majority of the starters in the major leagues. That's why you see so many legendary lefty hitters but righty throwers at positions like third base, second base, and catcher, spots where throwing right-handed is almost a requirement. So the question was, who is considered to be the best left-handed hitting but right-handed throwing second baseman of all time? And the choices, and by the way, all of the choices in this category are examples of this. Okay, examples of guys who are left-handed hitters but right-handed throwers.
Right. Okay.
Wade Boggs, Ty Cobb, Rod Carew, or Ken Griffey Jr. Which one of those four is considered to be the best left-handed hitting but right-handed throwing second baseman of all time? Wade Boggs, Ty Cobb, Rod Carew, or Ken Griffey Jr.?
Rod Carew.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. The process of elimination here was relatively simple, right?
Well, I remember yesterday one of the hints you gave was second baseman. So, I mean, that's it. Yeah, that basically solved the issue there.
Yeah, because Boggs played third.
Yeah.
Third played third, and Cobb and Griffey Jr. were outfielders. So Carew is the answer. Although this is kind of interesting that I took a look at some of the stats for Carew, and Carew actually played about 50 more games all time at first base.
Oh, yeah. I've noticed that. I actually have looked up his stats before, and I was surprised by that same thing because I always considered him like, a nifty middle infielder and everything, but he played a ton of first base.
He played a ton of first base. Rod Carew played over 1,100 games at second base, and he played almost 1,200 games at first base. If you remember, Carew played forever.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He played almost forever. He played 19 seasons in the major leagues, and those early years when he came up with the Twins before he went to the Angels, I don't know if he ever played first base for the Twins. I think he was playing first base almost primarily when he got to the California Angels. But I just thought that was interesting that all four of those examples in this question were examples of guys who were left-handed hitters but right-handed throwers. Boggs, Cobb, Carew, and Ken Griffey Jr. And they're all Hall of Famers. All Hall of Famers. All right, here's one. The other one was about the Masters. The Masters. With his win at Augusta on Sunday, Rory McIlroy became the fourth player to win consecutive Masters. In 1966, Nicklaus became the first player to win the Masters in back-to-back years. The Golden Bear also won the 1963 PGA, the 1966 British Open, becoming at age 26 the youngest player at the time to complete the career Grand Slam. Rory completed his career Grand Slam with his win at the Masters last year. But back to Nicklaus. How many times did Nicklaus win the Masters? How many times did Nicklaus win the Masters? 4, 5, 6, or 7? How many times did Nicklaus win the Masters? 4, 5, 6, or 7?
Seems like that you answered this yesterday too. Did you answer?
I didn't answer.
You didn't answer this one. Okay.
I didn't answer this one. Yesterday.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to know this, but I think that it's 4, 5, 6, or 7. You're just asking straight up, right? I'm going to go with 6.
That's right.
All right. What do you know?
That's right. Give yourself the belt.
What do you know? What do you know?
So Nicklaus, at age 46, won his final major in the 1986 Masters, which was his record. That's a record. Nicklaus has got 6, and Tiger's got 5.
Right.
Tiger's got 5. By the way, I noticed today that we now have the ratings for the Masters over the weekend. And the Masters ratings, just think about this. There was no Tiger, and there was no Phil Mickelson. I mean, they got discussed, but they didn't play. So the ratings for the Masters actually were very good.
Really?
Sunday's final round averaged 14 million viewers on CBS, including a peak of 20 million, making it the most watched final round of the Masters since 2015.
Wow.
So there you go.
Yeah,
that's surprising, right?
That's incredible. Yeah,
that's
it really
surprising,
is.
right? And it probably had a little bit to do with you had so many players at the top of the leaderboard and really didn't get separated until the last couple of minutes of the show. So they set a record, almost 20 million at the peak.
Yeah, wow.
Let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll play in or out in just a moment.
You can call us at 800-765-8255. Text us at 304-825-5304. Or tweet at WEEKLEY. This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
If it matters in West Virginia, it's being talked about here.
I always said I was going to move to a mountain in Tucker County, but probably going to put a data center on it. So I got to find a new plan.
Oh, you did not.
Oh, I did. Told you I was a little grumpy today.
Oh, man, you got some zingers today, Dave. I love it.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talkline. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind.
And onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. and they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is 5:24. Oh, man, it's a two-man bobsled edition of In or Out. So let's go ahead and do this thing. Every day at this time, we focus on the stuff you talk about at the office. We call it In or Out. The setup is simple. 3 categories: food or beverage, gut reaction. Finally, this one's about a celebrity, the topics of which change daily. Let's go ahead and get started. I think we got some good stuff today. Coop, are you ready to start with food or beverage?
Yeah, I can go.
All right, now this one's getting a little chatter in our social media platforms. Pabst Blue Ribbon, PBR, has just launched a new collaboration with Grillo's Pickles, introducing a pickled flavored beer. The PBR times Grillo's Pickle Beer combines the familiar pickle spear in a lager concept in a ready-to-drink version. This will be hitting retailers on May the 4th, including Walmart, amongst a host of other retailers. By the way, they're going to roll out a paint scheme for a race at Talladega on the NASCAR circuit. That'll be coming this weekend. So, Pabst Blue Ribbon and Grillo's Pickles, pickle-flavored beer, in or out?
This is becoming so common these days, and what I mean is you take something that's perfectly fine to like. In the past, it happened to bacon, for example. You know,
Yeah.
Bacon's a wonderful thing, and it's fine to like bacon. But suddenly, of course, generally people like bacon, and then it turns into like a thing where suddenly bacon is in everything, and everything's bacon. You got to do that, and then people are like, oh, bacon, and then you're not allowed to talk badly about bacon because bacon's bacon, and on, right? They're doing the same thing with pickles and other flavors now. It's like, I like pickles. I've liked pickles my whole life. Do I like it like this? No, man, I got to be out.
You know what? I like the can look. It's a good-looking can. But I'm just not a PBR person, okay? For whatever reason, I've never really been a Pabst Blue Ribbon
Ever since the
person.
Russians bought them?
Yeah, I don't know. I just never really liked PBR. I know some people swear by it, right? But this, it's a good marketing thing, but I just can't see myself buying this. I'm going to be out.
Is this a gin? What gin are we in anyway? But anyway, who likes the pickles? I don't know who wants the pickles.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. So there you go. That is coming in early May. All right. Secondarily, in gut reaction, pet ownership is now costing an average of nearly $4,300 a year. $4,300 a year for routine care for dogs or cats, according to a new survey. Over a typical dozen-year lifespan, total costs exceed $50,000. Vet expenses up 43% from 2021 to this year, with average insurance claims reaching $392, up 32% since 2020. Emergency surgeries range from $3,500 to $7,000. Cancer treatments cost $6,000 to $15,000. Amongst uninsured owners facing massive bills, 38% would use credit cards and 20% would drain their savings entirely to save their pets. Pet ownership costs nearly $4,300 a year, in or out.
I know that this is an unpopular opinion. I've been a pet owner most of my life. Just the last few years have I been without a pet for the first time, and I love my animals, and I always have. But we have a real issue, frankly, in this country where we will go bankrupt for our animals and hurt the rest of our human family. And, man, there is an issue with that. I love my animals, man, but sometimes they don't need a $5,000 surgery that's going to make them live for another 18 months. I got to be out on this.
Yeah, I think I have to be out on this as well because, man, $4,300 a year sounds like a lot. That's the kind of money that if you thought about that when you got your pet, you would never imagine it would be so expensive.
You just casually threw into this the insurance amount that people are paying for their pets.
Yes.
We're paying insurance and deductibles now because we've elevated the level of pet care to the same level that we have for human care, basically.
That's crazy. Finally, this one's about a celebrity. Pedro Pascal Okay? Women love him. Guys love him. He's officially joined Chanel as a house ambassador. Okay? Marking a rare partnership for the brand, which does not produce menswear. So Pedro Pascal has officially joined Chanel. Pedro Pascal, in or out?
My first thought is that's got to be a good gig, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too.
Like, he's the only dude in the room.
And he probably smells really great.
Yeah, right? And he's got some good perfume, man. I don't know that much personally about him. I really like the properties that he's been attached to. What all has he been? He was the Mandalorian, right? He was in Last of Us.
Yeah, he's in the Fantastic Four.
He was in the Fantastic Four. However, he's not in the Baby Yoda movie that's coming out. He doesn't take his helmet off, so they didn't cast him in that, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I'm in on him. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, so the announcement follows his standout performance at the Academy Awards where he wore a Chanel design.
Okay.
All right. Pedro Pascal in.
I mean, with that name, you have to be like something, right? That's a good name.
We'll
I forgot. He also got his head crushed in by the mountain on Game of Thrones. Can't forget that.
That's right. That was sad. And on that note, let's take a break. This is Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hi there. Still summer heat and thunderstorm potential through Saturday, but by Sunday, highs back in the 60s where our lows have been, and by then lows in the 30s. For the rest of the day, we'll look near and north of Wheeling for a marginal risk of large hail and damaging winds. Same hazards for the marginal threat on Thursday from Huntington to Morgantown and west of there. Similar spots have a slight risk already for Saturday. So the next few days, a lot of opportunity to see some thunderstorms that could do some damage for some communities. Even so, very quiet across the region overnight into Thursday. Then through Thursday afternoon and evening, we'll see shower and thunderstorm potential move on in from the west. We'll have lingering showers Friday before that system passes altogether. Here's your Fly CRW forecast. It starts at home. Temperatures pushing into the 80s and low 90s are not limited locally here. Wherever you're traveling in the coming days, still dressing for that summery weather. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast up until 7 p.m. Friday. A half inch locally for New Cumberland. Then amounts really drop off going south. Mid 60s is where we bottom out going into Thursday. Very mild this time of year. Low to mid 80s. These will be the coolest spots in the region on Thursday. Looking east, amounts drop off to nothing towards Charlestown. We will see temperatures staying in low to upper 60s here into Thursday, and the warmest spots back in some low 90s for Thursday. Hot for mid-April. Expanding west, commonly around 1/10 of an inch expected in the coming days, with temperatures bottoming out in low to mid 60s, and not as many 90s here, but still some mid 80s very common for your Thursday. Ending in portions of southern West Virginia, we'll see a good 1/10 of an inch or so, including for Charleston. Looking at temperatures bottoming out in low to mid 60s, and then commonly in the low to upper 80s for your Thursday. When it comes to the rest of the forecast, we will be much quieter along with the cooler conditions starting Sunday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
On the next State of Minds.
When something like punk rock comes around, it's very anti everything, and people were really looking down on what they were brought up with. And for us, we found it was kind of fun to embrace it.
Is it a moment or like they're having an episode?
No, but you're right. You're right. We are having a moment. Yeah.
The conversation starts long before the game.
He doesn't do this to other guests, but every time I'm on here, he creates distractions.
Disrespectful.
With his phone. I mean,
I have to have the phone on in case Pete Thamel breaks another story.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television, available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronews.com.
All right, welcome back. 26 till the hour. We'll get into more of your responses to our question of the day here in just a moment. Going to give you an update on WVU baseball here in a second as well. Here is our question of the day, and we've had a ton of really good responses to this all day long. It is tax day, April the 15th. Just in case you forgot, it is tax day. Question of the day sponsored by Salango Law. You just got a surprise $1,000 refund. Oh boy, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? What are you buying? Just in case you forgot, it's tax day, and you just got a surprise $1,000 refund. But there's a catch. You got to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? Text those in, and a bunch you already have. 304-TALK 304, 304-8255 304. I'm on X2 at Weekly, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y, one word, three E's, W-E-E-K-L-E-Y. A couple of things I want to get into. So the WVU baseball team, which gets back into Big 12 play this weekend against Houston, has got really a unique game that's getting underway right now in Hagerstown. In Hagerstown, West Virginia and Penn State are playing. So the Mountaineers are on the top 20. They're going for win number 25 tonight. Penn State is under 500. They're just coming off a series where they lost to the Buckeyes of Ohio State, lost 2 out of 3. So they're playing the game in Hagerstown, which is such an odd situation, right? You've got a team from West Virginia playing a team from the state of Pennsylvania, and the game is in Hagerstown. And they're playing in the relatively new ballpark in downtown Hagerstown today. Not the one that used to we would see the Charleston Wheelers or the Alley Cats play at Old Memorial Park in Hagerstown. No, this is the new downtown park, which is really nice with a capacity of just under 5,000. So Steve Sabins, the coach of the Mountaineers, got a question yesterday in his press availability about how this game got set up in the first place. And here's his response to that.
1-1 was great. We'll both wear it in the pants for one of the long bus trips. But if we were able to find somewhere closer in between, we would love to do that. And so this park in Hagerstown, I've never been there. I don't know a ton about it, but I was told it was a $80 million downtown renovation project where they wanted to bring life to this downtown area. And this was going to be kind of the center hub for it. And they pitched us and had a great leadership team and management team. They ended up paying for buses and essentially paid for us, both teams, to be there to put on this event. And then I've been told that it's been sold out for a long time.
So there you go. So that game is now underway. It is now underway. And let's see, who's the home team in this game? Let's see. Oh, okay. So West Virginia is going to be the home team in this particular game. So Penn State is at the plate getting the thing started. You know, I was mentioning a little bit about J.J. Weatherholt, the former Mountaineer. And we talked about him today for the Cardinals in their win over the Cleveland Guardians. They won that game 5-3. I'm taking a quick peek at the box score. Weatherholt is in the number 1 hole today, leading off again for the Cardinals. He was 0 for 1, but he walked twice. So his average is .227. He hit 2 home runs last night. And his on-base percentage, Coop, is about .340. So he walked twice today.
Yeah, good.
Stole a base. Victor Scott, who was also a former Mountaineer in the number 9 hole for the Cardinals today, he was 0 for 2, but he also walked twice. So both those guys had walks, a pair of walks, and both of them stole bases in the game. And so the Cardinals beat the Guardians 5-3. We'll talk about the Pirates and the Reds in a second. But one of the interesting things about Weatherholt, you know, they were talking in the spring about, you know, they knew he could hit, but they didn't know if he would be able to field. Now, I understand that we're talking about a relatively small sample size of games so far. The Cardinals have only played 18 games. But I saw this last night, and I thought this was really, really curious, that in terms of defense and defensive expectations, through the first 15 games of the season, and I don't think he's had an error in the last 3 games, Weatherholt is in the 100th percentile in outs above average. So at this point, he is tied with Bobby Witt of the Royals for being the best defensive player in baseball, full stop. I mean, we're not talking just amongst second basemen. And if you follow me on X, I sent out a graph earlier today of where he ranks defensively amongst the other top 10 second basemen in the major leagues, and he's number 1. He's number 1.
That's incredible. That's very good.
That's pretty amazing,
yeah, that's
right?
great. Good for him. Yeah,
now,
really.
You know, I'm tapping the brakes on this because it's just a small sample
It's very early.
size, right?
It's very early.
Yeah, and this is through 15 games. But for a guy that you thought, well, you know, he carries a bat and we're going to put him at second base, and it's kind of a question mark on whether or not he's going to be able to field or not, that really hasn't happened. That really hasn't happened. So far, you know, knock on wood, the young guy, the former Mountaineer, has been well beyond expectations when it comes to his defensive play. And I think that's a major surprise. I think that is a major, major surprise. All right. A couple other things I wanted to get into in this particular segment, and that is what was going on last night in the play-in game in the NBA. So we talked about this briefly in the 3 o'clock hour about the fact that the Charlotte Hornets won a play-in game last night. First time they had won a game in the postseason outside of the regular season in Charlotte at home in a decade. So they beat the Miami Heat last night, 127-126. And, you know, it was a really, really good game. Charlotte won the game. But one of the things they're talking about today is the fact that LaMelo Ball, who scored the game-winning bucket, we're going to play that here in just a second, he grabbed the leg of Bam Adebayo and when he was falling in the second quarter, and it basically took Bam out of the game. Bam did not return to the game at all, and Eric Spoelstra, the coach of Miami, basically after the game said that Ball should have been ejected from the game. And he might have a point. He might have a point. So this was a wild game that went to overtime. The Hornets won at 127-126. Let's go ahead, Coop, let's go ahead and play that clip. So here's a situation where the Hornets have the ball. They're down by 1. There's 5 seconds to – there's, I think, 10 seconds to go in the game, and the Hornets inbound the ball. They get the bucket to go up by 1. The Heat have no timeouts, so they can't advance the ball into the half court, and they get a block at the buzzer, and it gives the Hornets their first win at home in the postseason in a decade. Here's how it played out.
James looking. Ball breaks free. Gets it. 7 seconds. Ball the drive. And Ball lays it in. There's no timeouts left for Miami. Charlotte up by 1. The drive. It's over. Mitchell got negated. The Hornets win it. A wild night in Charlotte. 127-126 in overtime.
So I ask you once again, when was the last time you watched the Charlotte Hornets play a basketball game?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Can you remember the last time?
I really can't.
So they won the play-in game last night. The other games, Blazers beat the Suns 114-110, and you got a couple of other play-in games tonight. Magic at the Sixers and the Warriors at the Clippers tonight. Those are play-in games. Here is LaMelo Ball after the game on hitting that game-winning shot for Charlotte last night.
We just stuck with it. We stuck with it. We grinded out. I mean, we wasn't hitting our threes. A lot of shots we wasn't hitting, but like I said, we stuck with it.
What were you thinking on that drive?
On that last drive, pretty much I just got to win the game.
Pretty good answer, right?
Yeah. That is what you had to do.
And he did. But you know what? If you're Miami, when you see that clip, if you watch it on SportsCenter, it's like you can't let him get to the hole, right?
Yeah.
And he did. He went right to the basket. So LaMelo Ball finished with 30 points and 10 assists in that game. And once again, I want to emphasize, that was Charlotte's first playoff or postseason win at home in 10 years. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back and get into more of your responses to our question of the day, and maybe talk a little bit about what's going on tonight with the Pirates against the Nats and the Reds hosting the Giants again. Back in a minute.
There's a lot of noise out there about the market and the economy, but what's really important to you and your future? I'm Shelley Hustle, a member of Huntington Bank's local wealth team right here in West Virginia. Join us for Money Minutes this Thursday at 3:45 on Hotline as we discuss the most important topics and what they mean for you, your family, and your business. Join us on Thursday for Money Minutes, providing insight into the market and how it will impact us right here at home.
Ready to make this boating season unforgettable? Head to Lou Wendell Marine Sales, family owned and operated for over 40 years and West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Lou and his sons are boating experts from sales to service to repairs. And right now, their lot is packed with incredible inventory and some of the best deals of the season. Because they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com today. Boating season is almost here.
This is Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
When you hired me, you were 29. You seemed like you were 50 when you were 29. You were running that thing like a 50-year-old man. All right, we got to go get some tape. Come on, get out of there.
I think I've sort of always been 50, and I think I'm 50 now.
Yeah, me too. That's a great point.
Join Tony Caridi, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Patients who have allergies and sinusitis, they have worse quality of life on many levels. At the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center, we provide all the most recent technology in office procedures to help patients who cannot breathe through their nose. Patients come in, within half an hour they can leave. Whatever problem with the sinus and allergy you're having, we can help you get the right treatment.
For caring.
All right, welcome back. About 12 minutes till the hour. No damage from Penn State in the top of the first inning in the WVU game in Hagerstown this afternoon. That is now underway. First pitch was about 15 minutes ago. WVU now coming to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Nits and the Mountaineers. And don't forget, at the top of the hour, Marshall will be in action against Ohio State. And that's, that's kind of an interesting situation, too, because you have you've got the former coach of the Buckeyes coaching as the head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd today. So Greg Beals, it's a homecoming for him. He spent a dozen years as the head coach at Ohio State, won a couple of Big Ten titles, so he's back in Columbus taking on his old team tonight. As I said, that game's going to get started. First pitch is scheduled for about 12 minutes or so. Coop, I want to talk a little bit about the Reds and the Giants tonight. And I'm looking through the write-ups, the previews of the game tonight. Tyler Mahle, the former Red, former draft choice of the Reds, is getting the ball tonight. He's 0-2 against Rhett Lauder. Lauder's going to be going for his second win of the year. He's 1-1 with a 3.31 ERA. I mean, just the simple thing about the Reds is, man, if you shut down Ellie and you shut down Stewart, you got a pretty good chance to win. I mean, the rest of the lineup is really not doing anything.
They're terrible. I mean, the rest of the lineup, the thing that I was hoping for at the beginning of the year is that I figured that Sal Stewart was going to hit. Hopefully Ellie was going to be okay. There's a couple guys in that lineup that I assumed was going to be okay, and that the Reds needed to have a couple more guys hit for them to be competitive. The pitching has maybe been, I mean, mostly as advertised, at times good, at times it hasn't been there, but it's been good enough for them to win games, and certainly good enough for them to win a couple more games than where they're at. But they're really struggling getting any consistency, any hits with runners in scoring position. Matt McLean, who had a great spring, just really, he's a guy that's really tough because for whatever reason, he's the perfect archetype of the type of player that every broadcaster loves. Like, every broadcaster loves a tiny little white guy that gets dirty all the time and really plays hard and stuff like that. And they're batting .220, and you find every angle in the world to talk about how good they actually are at playing .220 or whatever. TJ Friedel's kind of the same way. The Reds have a lot of problems with some of these guys that aren't consistent offensively, and I'm not really sure what the answer is. Hopefully, maybe Rhys Hines might be one of those answers.
Yeah.
Ditching Marte at this point is something they needed to do. But the last time Rhys Hines was in the major leagues was last year, and he barely hit over 100. So I don't know, man.
So it's just a situation when you take a look at the numbers. The Reds currently, when it comes to WRC plus, they're last in the National League, and the Giants are kind of in the middle of the pack in that regard. But hey, man, the Reds only got 3 hits last night, but 2 of them were home runs, and that was enough in a 2-1 win. So we'll see what happens in the game tonight. Let me get a quick peek at the Reds lineup tonight. So, I mean, it is crazy when you look at Friedel's leading off, and he's hitting 153. So that's really tough. So it's Friedel, McLean, Ellie, Stewart, that's your top 4. Suarez is in the 5-hole DH, and again tonight. He hasn't really gotten rolling yet. He's hitting 217. Steer, Hines, Stevenson's in the 8-hole, and Ke'Bryan Hayes is at the bottom of the order tonight at 073. You're really not expecting him to hit, but he really hasn't hit at all.
Yeah, you need to get in the 220s. I mean, you got to be a professional hitter.
So when you take a look at the Giants lineup, I mean, Devers, that's where the power is, right there in the middle of the lineup. But he's coming in at 212, and his OPS on the season is 586. That's not great either. So that's going to be improving. The Pirates lineup tonight, I think Connor Griffin is out of the lineup for the Bucks tonight. Let me see the lineup here for the Pirates as this is game 3 of this series with the Nationals tonight. It's going to be Montgomery's going to start, the lefty, for the Pirates. So this is going to be a situation tonight where you're probably going to see, well, I know you're going to see a whole host of relievers going at it tonight. So O'Neal Cruz is, his OPS almost 1,000 right now. He's had a great start to the year. He's going to lead off in center. Lau's going to be in the 2-hole. He's been above expectations. I mean, right now he's got better stats than any second baseman in baseball. Reynolds in the 3-hole. O'Hearn will be in right to clean up. Ozuna, who's put a couple of hits together, had a couple of hits, but he's still only hitting 106. He's in there. Gonzalez at short. So for Griffin, Spencer Horowitz will be at first. York at third. And Henry Davis will bat ninth. And so Montgomery's going tonight, and Irvin will pitch tonight for the Nats. Let me get a couple quick responses to our question of the day, because we had a bunch. The question of the day, it is tax day. So you got a surprise $1,000 refund, but there's a catch. You have to spend it on something completely useless. So what are you buying? What are you buying? Let's see. Jennings says, Dave, Steeler season tickets. Maybe Red season tickets too. Well, for $1,000, you're going to have to make a choice. Let's see. Bananas for WV. Dave, I would give it to Americans Together. After saying let's get together to get stuff done, they've done diddly here in West Virginia. It's kind of sad. This is from Land of the Flying WV. Dave, this question of the day sounds a little like the storyline for Brewster's Millions. You know what? I think you're right about
it. It really is, yeah.
I think you're right about that. Jody Cook on X. Dave, I want new golf clubs. It doesn't matter what I use. I'm still terrible. Hey, man, but a bad day at the golf course is still a pretty good day anywhere else, man. Let's see. Let me get a couple more responses. Coop, I tell you what, the text line. How about this shade?
Humming a little bit, right?
Yeah. How about the text line? How about this person throwing shade on me? 681-542. Dave, I think the only thing that I could buy that would be useless would be a bunch of Bob Dylan records.
Ooh.
Direct hit.
Ooh.
That was a direct hit.
Ooh.
That's going to leave a mark, man.
I mean, at least he didn't say specifically say a bunch of vinyl.
I know.
You know, at least he didn't come straight after you.
Well, you know, it is record store day this weekend.
Yeah, it is coming up.
So that's what I'll probably spend some of my $1,000 on that. Here's another one, 304-550. Hey, Dave, I would give it to my old lady. That would be useless. Nice. We had a bunch of good responses to this. For the stuff that we didn't get to today, check it out in the follow-up file. That will be on Friday at around 3:50-ish. Let's take a break, and we're back to wrap it for the day in a moment.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need,
to find peace. And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
Talking to your kids about the dangers of vaping can be hard. Getting them to listen to hot gossip is easy. So here's some drama you could share with your kid. Dude, did you hear about Cassie and Jake? No, but did you hear that vaping can cause irreversible lung damage and nicotine affects brain development? Nuh-uh. You don't need to gossip if you want to have an open conversation about vaping. So if you want to get tips on when and how to talk to your kids, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Moving Day, a walk for Parkinson's, is happening around the country. More than just a walk. Moving Day is a fun experience that unites the community in the fight against Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's doesn't stop, and neither will we. So let's get moving. Join the Parkinson's Foundation to learn more and register for an event in your area at movingdaywalk.org. That's movingdaywalk.org.
The Library of Congress invites you to visit the revamped Veterans History Project website, where firsthand accounts shared by U.S. military veterans are accessible to the public. Performing a search of the collection is easy. First, go to loc.gov/vets. Click Explore the Collections. Scroll down to Search the VHP Collections and click. Make sure you're searching this collection, and with simple keywords, you can find what you're looking for. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
Being isolated and lonely can be harmful to your health, resulting in high blood pressure,
a greater risk of heart disease, and early onset dementia. So it's important to build and maintain social connections. Try a new hobby, volunteer, exercise, or use your phone or other device to stay in touch. Visit connecttoeffect.org to find resources and ways to stay connected. Presented by AARP Foundation with support from United Healthcare.
All right, welcome back. Time to wrap it up today. Oh, we'll tell you, though, that the Mountaineers have dented the scoreboard, but so has Penn State. It is 1-1 for the Mountaineers and the Nits in Hagerstown, top of the second inning. We'll talk about how this game went down tomorrow on the show. Until then, though, that's going to do it for today. We thank you so much for listening, sending your answers to our question of the day and more. Stay tuned for the news at the top of the hour. Sportsline is on the other side. My name's Dave Weekley. I will talk to you tomorrow beginning at 3:06, right here on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the Metro News Network is presented by Salango Law, salangolaw.com. Hear Hotline weekdays from 3 until 6 on this Metro News station or WVMetronews.com. Visit the site or your favorite podcast service for past shows and features. This has been Hotline, presented by Salango Law on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.